absolute maniac. We already have our first Trump supporter on the line. Mr. Goatman, if you'd like to take it away and tell us why you support Trump, that would be great.
So I guess for a backstory, I served in the Marine Corps for over 5 years. There's a sense of morality, structure, personal integrity. The JJ did tie buckle. I don't know if you've ever heard about that, but it's like the tenets of the Marine Corps.
Are you saying that same morality, structure, and integrity is true of Trump?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, that's a really stupid thing to say. He has no integrity.
I don't think so.
He has no integrity.
so.
He has no integrity. He lied about the big beautiful bill that he just got passed through Congress, having no tax on Social Security. He was posting graphics on Truth Social saying that no tax on Social Security. This is why you should support the bill. The bill doesn't include no tax on Social Security. It's literally a bold-faced lie.
I think that's really easy to say when you're fighting with constituents and you have to appeal to the same political groups that push. It's not just his things. Like, there's a big part of it that I don't agree with that they put in for the gun laws, and someone's secretary deleted a piece of it, and we lost that part of gun rights, and it was for suppressors. And to say that that's Trump's fault is kind of ignorant and ridiculous.
What I'm calling is Trump's fault is that he's been saying that the bill includes no tax on Social Security. He said this before it was passed and after it was passed, even though it does not include no tax on Social Security.
But the other constituents and people who are part of the bill adjusted pieces of it. It's not
I'm saying that he said this before it was passed, okay? And then even before it was passed, it didn't include no tax on Social Security. And after it was passed, after all final adjustments made in the Senate, he was still saying that it included no tax on Social Security. He just lied.
I don't think that's a lie. I think
it is a lie because the bill didn't include no tax on Social Security.
Bill. So there's
you continue to say it's a transforming bill. Okay, I'm going to repeat this for one last time. Can you promise that you're going to listen incredibly closely to me?
No, I'm listening.
Okay, so he said that the bill included no tax on Social Security when it was originally in the House and didn't include no tax on Social Security. Then he said that the bill included no tax on Social Security. When it went to the Senate, it was revised and still didn't include no tax on Social Security. And then he said that it included no tax on Social Security when the revised bill from the Senate went back to the House and got confirmed. And then he said that there's no tax on Social Security after that same confirmed bill that didn't include no tax on Social Security was passed by the totality of Congress. So throughout the last four revisions, when it did not include no tax on Social Securities, and even after the final version of the bill was finally passed through both the House and the Senate, he was still saying that there's no tax on Social Securities. So don't just say it was changed and revised.
The suppressor changed the day before the bill was presented.
We're not talking about the suppressor.
I know, but that's a good example of the changes that were made to it that weren't by him. It was just people. It wasn't even a politician we voted for who changed a piece of the bill. If you don't think that there's an issue with that and that's inherently wrong, that has nothing to do with Trump. That has to do with everybody else in D.C.
Okay, I want you to repeat what I just said.
You said that, yes, he kept stating that there was no tax on Social Security.
Even though the bill never included no tax on Social Security.
I know, and I am giving you a physical example of how much people would change the bill. I mean, the thing's got as many pages.
But I'm saying that part of it was never in the bill to begin with.
It was supposed to. I know that. Why else would he say that? I mean, we got the no tax on tips up to, what is it, 20?
Don't talk about no tax on tips. Talk about no tax on Social Security. No tax on Social Security was never in the bill. Okay, through its totality period of revision, he continued to say that it included no tax on Social Security, and then even after it was completely revised and passed by the whole Congress. Then he also said there's no tax on Social Security.
Because other people have changed the pieces of that, yes.
Dude, are you rage baiting me?
No, not at all.
I just said that the bill never included
it. It's purely logical.
I just said that the bill never included it.
It was supposed to, yes.
But even it was supposed to, it didn't. It didn't include it.
It happens all the time.
What happens all the time? What politicians like Trump lie all the time and show that they have no integrity?
A constituent with certain districts, and he's even explained this. The constituents with different districts have different financials put into specific sections of that bill. It got stuff so full of crap that
what
it consistently got changed.
Dude.
I know this is blowing your mind, but it's how politics work. So
the bill never included no tax on Social Security. And then even after it passed both the House and the Senate, he still said that it included no tax on Social Security.
Because that was the original intent until other constituents got their hands on it.
So why would he say that the bill includes no tax on Social Security but doesn't include no tax on Social Security?
Because why would someone who isn't being paid off by big corporations touching the bill, like the suppressor thing? And there's a plenty of other examples.
Okay, you
That aren't
actually didn't
Again,
answer my
this is-
question. Okay, I'm gonna revise it. I'm gonna be very clear. So why did he say that the final bill that was passed by Congress included no tax on
Because
Social
it was
Security?
supposed to be in there.
Oh, okay. So it was supposed to be in it, so he could just say that it is.
Oh, I mean, why?
So
again,
like
the
for
suppressor thing,
instance,
you were
like
told
for
the
instance,
suppressor
I just
thing
want to
was
clarify.
supposed
I just want to clarify. If
Wait.
if I'm single,
The tax on tips wasn't clearly
one
stated,
second,
and
sir.
now there's a
One second,
cap
sir.
on it.
One second, sir. So if I'm single and a woman invites me to a date and I'm supposed to be at the restaurant at 6:30,
This is already a bad analogy.
and it's 6:30 and I'm not at the restaurant because I'm supposed to be at the restaurant, can I lie to her and tell her that I'm at the restaurant even though I'm at home?
I mean, if you want out of that date, man,
Would
do
that
what you gotta
would
do.
that be a lie though? If I
this is
told her
what
that I
kind of
was at the
analogy is
restaurant and
this?
I wasn't at the restaurant?
What kind of analogy is this?
Because you're saying it was supposed to be in the bill, so even though it wasn't in the bill, he could still
Correctly,
say it's
yeah.
in the bill.
Again,
Okay,
when you
don't
have
interrupt
a
me.
bunch of-
Calm down. Don't interrupt me. I just want to make sure that is your argument that it's supposed to be in the bill, but it wasn't in the bill. And even though it wasn't in the bill because it was supposed to be in the bill, he could say it's in the bill.
If you have people touching the bill, again, we have proof that a non-voted for secretary changed a specific part of the bill and deleted a whole wording of it. And you're going to sit here and tell me, oh my God, we didn't get the social taxes off of Social Security, which don't even get me started on that. Just Social Security as a platform as at all. The older generation, fuck that for the rest of us. But let's keep going.
So I just want to clarify. Your argument here is because a secretary changed something to do with gun laws.
Oh, that's not the only one.
Okay,
that's not the only
stop
one.
interrupting me. Calm down. So your argument here is that some secretary changed something to do with gun laws in the Big Beautiful Bill.
Yep.
Therefore, when Donald Trump says the Big Beautiful Bill includes no tax on
Anything
Social
in that
Security,
bill
you're still
is-
interrupting me.
Anything within that bill is
Why are
liable.
you still interrupting me?
Oh, get over yourself, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to. Am
That's
I
not how debate
talking? I have a
works.
question. Am I talking to the grown man in the profile picture or the little baby? Because right now I feel like I'm talking to the little
Oh.
baby.
Yeah, we can't come up with logical reasons, so we're going to personally attack me. I understand. You're really winning this
No,
debate.
I'm just
buddy.
asking you to stop interrupting me, and you can't control
Oh.
yourself like a little baby.
That's not how a debate works. You bring up a point, and it's fallacy. I can counteract that. I've been in debate.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
let's go through it. I just want to clarify on what your argument is without you interrupting me this time. Your argument is because some secretary changed something in the bill to do with gun laws, that therefore when Donald Trump says that the final bill includes no tax on Social Security, even though the final bill does not include no tax on Social Security, Donald Trump is not lying.
No, I don't think the intent was to lie. I think that it was every intent to have that in the bill. But again, going back to, there are multiple cases of constituents with people who aren't even elected adjusting and changing and deleting things from the bill. That's not a fair assumption that he is lying.
Okay. So now your argument is because he wanted it in the bill, even though it's not in the bill, if he says it is, it's not a lie. So I have a question. If I want to be in Cabo right now, even though I'm in Colorado, if I say I'm in Cabo, that's not a lie.
A bad analogy.
Okay, why is that an unfair analogy?
Is someone playing with your flight records and changing your shit on you so you can't make it to Cabo? Like that.
Wait, I mean, let's just assume that that's true for whatever reason. Assume that I have a plane ticket booked to Cabo, and then some hacker changes
you're gonna
the
tell people
destination.
I'm going to Cabo.
So you're interrupting me. So imagine I have some plane ticket booked to Cabo, right? And then some hacker hacks in and changes it to Australia. I get on the plane, I wind up in Australia. Would I be lying if I turned around and called my mom and told her I was in Cabo?
When your flight ticket has the same amount of pages as the Lord of the Rings, I think that's a pretty easy assumption, yes. And I wouldn't judge you for that. I'd be like, yeah, that's pretty logical. He thought he was going to Cabo. Who the fuck would fuck with his vacation?
So if I'm in Australia
But hang on,
and
stop,
I
hang on.
tell
Don't-
my
don't-
mom that
don't
I'm
interrupt
not
me
in
now.
Australia,
Why
I'm
would-
not lying. So I just want to clarify your argument is if I'm in Australia and I call my mom and I tell her I'm in Mexico, I'm telling the truth? That's your position? What am I talking to? Do you? Wow, we gonna play fairy tale make believe. Fucking holy shit! Let's just make the world and realities we know it whatever we want it to be. This is outrageous.
Hang on, no, stop. Let's even look at this from another perspective. Why would you not look at the person and ask, "Hey, why did someone change my shit? Why am I not in Cabo? Why is no one else?
It was never included in the first place.
Why would we not ask that? Why is it that there were people who aren't elected officials who changed things in the bill last minute before it was submitted? Why are we not questioning that as a society?
So we can question that.
You go to
and
Trump for that, but that has nothing to do with him.
So we can question that, and we can have a conversation about that. As soon as we finish our conversation about how Donald Trump lied about there being no tax on Social Security in the bill.
It's not a lie. If
now,
that's what
once again, there's your first strike. So here's what I'm going to treat you like a toddler. I really am. I'm going to give you 3 strikes, 3 interruptions. After 3 interruptions, I'm going to mute you. So right now you're in your first, little boy. I'm going to go to repeat myself. So we could have a conversation about like non-congressmen or women, like changing stuff in the bill. So there's your second strike. So one more time, and I'm going to mute you. Now I'm going to restart. So we could have a conversation about secretaries or non-elected officials changing things in the big, beautiful bill after we finish our conversation about how Donald Trump lied about the bill, not including tax on Social Security. So your first argument was to say, well, somebody changed something in the bill. It was supposed to be in the bill, then a secretary took it out of the bill. Okay, so first and foremost, that's just wrong. So no tax on Social Security was never included in the BBB. Second of all, even if this was true, if somebody changed the bill and redacted its inclusion of no tax on Social Security, well, from that moment forward, if Donald Trump claimed that the bill had no tax on Social Security, Donald Trump would be lying, right? So regardless, even though what you're saying is false, if it was true, Donald Trump would still be a liar the moment it was taken out of the bill. Now, to your second point, your second argument was to say that he wasn't a liar because he wanted it in the bill. Okay, well, just because you want something, if you don't have it, you can't say that you have it. I want $1 million in my bank account. But if I don't have $1 million in my bank account, if I tell you I do have $1 million in my bank account, I'm still lying to you, right? So that is a debunk of your 2 arguments. And honestly, man, like this is really easy to understand. Like honestly, the child in your profile picture would probably like understand this better than you, and that's really depressing. But let's see if you could respond back to the 2 like counter arguments I just gave you to demonstrate, right? Regardless if somebody changed the bill, if Donald Trump said it was in the bill after, you'd still be a liar, but nobody changed the bill. It wasn't included from the start. And then the second argument was, well, even though he wanted it in the bill, because it's not in the bill, he can't say that it is. And my analogy there is that if I want $1 million in my bank account, if I don't have $1 million in my bank account and I tell you I do, I'm still a liar. So at this point, you should just concede.
That's not a lie. If every intent was to have that in the bill and someone else changes it, how does that make you a liar?
Because it's not in the bill?
No. Okay, so let's use my analogy. Okay, let's say that you're sitting down and you're with your investor or your bank, and you're talking about a new business, and you have every intent, because a loan is based on trust. So you have every intent to sit down with them, and this is my business. Let's say it's cupcakes or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You're going to make this amount of money within this amount of time for the bank to pay back this loan. And your personal sales, you show them your bank accounts, whatever, how much money you make, yada, yada, yada. You sit down and you don't make that money. Does that make you a liar?
If you turned around and you told them that you did that make much, you did make
you
that
were
much money,
going to make that money. That's not a lie. No, the thousands of businesses do that every year. Every small business started off with that loan. So you just said every small business now is a liar.
If there was a single small business that said they made $20,000 in a month, where they didn't
go
make
look up how many small businesses
that's
go
a
under
lie.
because of that business. That's not a lie.
What is a lie?
It's the intent. It's the intent. Like
I have a
to.
question. Can you tell me what a lie is?
Yeah, it's unwilling. It's not telling the truth.
Oh, so not telling the truth. So I just want to clarify: was Donald Trump telling the truth when he said that the bill passed through Congress had no tax on Social Security?
If every intent of it to be there was there, yes, that's the truth.
So something can be true without being true?
If that was the intent,
what is it? I have a question.
What
What does it mean for something to be true?
Something to be true is that means like it's got factual information. You can redo it over and over again.
Okay.
It can be
it just it aligns with reality, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So did Donald Trump's claim that the final bill passed through Congress included no tax on Social Security, did that claim align with reality? Did that final bill actually include no tax on Social Security?
If that was his intent, then yes.
So your answer to the question, did the final bill include no tax on Social Security, include no tax on Social Security? Your answer to that question is yes?
So, yes, because if you sit
okay, well then please go ahead and show me in the bill where it included no tax on Social Security.
1 second.
Why are we even doing this? Because it didn't. Why are you doing this to yourself? Like I don't know why you're doing why am I debating some like delusional ass motherfucker? Like, dude, this guy's lost.
It's not delusional. Why are you ignoring the analogy too? You just said that everybody is a liar because they're a small business because a loan is based on trust, and you just said they're all liars.
So if a small business said that they made $20K last month and they didn't, that small business lied.
No, they're going to talk. You don't know how much you make as a small business.
Oh, so you're talking about a projection. Okay. All right. Well, we're not talking about a projection here because remember, Donald Trump said that the bill currently includes this. It's not a projection of the future. That's a statement of like the current. Okay. And then also there's nothing to project after the bill was passed. Okay. When the bill is passed, the bill is done. And he still claimed that it had no tax on Social Security. But we're still waiting for you to go ahead and give us a part of the bill that included no tax on Social Security.
Yep. 1 second.
Man, you know it's crazy. It's crazy that I do this to myself. I don't know why people claim to be such delusional MFers. Yeah.
So it states that no, it does not eliminate all taxes on Social Security benefits. It does provide significant tax relief for many Social Security recipients.
Right, precisely. So the bill gave a $6,000 deductible to individuals on Social Security over the age of 65. But a $6,000 deductible on Social Security is not no tax on Social Security, meaning that it's a lie.
It's not a lie. You're still getting a benefit. I don't know why you would cry about that.
But that benefit isn't no tax on Social Security. It's just less tax on Social Security.
Is that not a good thing?
So it's a good thing to have less tax on Social Security, but this doesn't mean that when Donald Trump said that there was no tax on Social Security,
why is your focus on like he's a liar, but he still did a good thing?
Because you claim that he had integrity. People with integrity don't lie.
That is integrity. He still did something good. Again.
Okay. So the total impact of the big beautiful bill, by the way, is estimated by this University of Pennsylvania.
You tell me 100-something million people
the total impact of the big beautiful bill, by the way, via estimates from the Wharton School of Business from the University of Pennsylvania, is that the tax rate for everybody making below or around $51,000 per year will increase, including those on Social Security. But anyways, I just want to clarify that this is you now shifting the goalpost because your original claim is that that wasn't a lie. Is your new position now that it was a lie, but you just don't care?
No, it's not a lie. Every intent was to do good, and he did good.
Okay, so let me clarify.
And you and I both agree with that.
So imagine that my friend is in debt to me, and my friend owes me $100,000.
Okay.
So if I go out and I make it so my friend no longer owes me $100,000, they just owe me $90,000. So I reduce the debt that they owe me. That's a good thing, right?
100%.
So even though I did that good thing, if I then turned around and just told them that now they owe me nothing, even though they still owe me $90K, would that be a lie?
That's a huge, significant, and less benefit. You're not helping them.
Well, I'm helping them by taking $10,000 off of the money that they owe.
That's subjective to helping them. I think not getting taxed on my total amount is more beneficial than if you were like, hey, I changed the interest rate on this to 0. I'd be like, oh, that's way better.
Oh, okay, for sure. We'll do that. So imagine I was charging him an interest rate of 10%. And I went from charging him the interest rate of 10% to charging him an interest rate of 1%. If I told around and I told him that now he owes me an interest rate of 0%, did I lie, even though I did change his interest rate from 10 to 1?
No, because you really helped them there. I don't know if you know the difference of 10% of $100,000.
So if I change it and I make it so he owes me an interest rate of 1%, but I tell him that he owes me an interest rate of 0%, that's not a lie.
That's not the same thing.
That is the same thing because you're telling us that even though Donald Trump didn't eliminate all taxes on
Hey,
Social
this is
Security
this-
because he.
and
So I just want to clarify that
you did a good thing.
this is a point. This is a great point because you're telling us that he didn't lie, even though he said that it completely eliminates tax on
The
Social
difference
Security.
is, did you tell me that at any point were you trying to make it where I didn't have to pay anything? Yeah, I mean, make it as low as possible, to make it as cheap as possible. At the end of the day, I'm the one who owes you money, so I'd be, if I was the friend, I'd be like, thank you, irregardless.
Okay, so basically your position is that Donald Trump did lie, but you don't care because
It's
he
not
still
a lie.
did it. Okay, man, how is it not a lie to lie?
It's not a lie. Every intent was made to have it.
But
so
but
you
but
can
but I just need to know here. It doesn't matter because they still owe some tax on Social Security. So if he
Correct, but
claims
that's
that they
because
owe no
other
tax,
people made
listen,
it
listen,
that
listen,
way.
listen. I have a question. Are you saying that it is simultaneously true? Okay, is it true or false? When Donald Trump says that now there's no tax on Social Security, is that statement from Donald Trump true or is that statement from Donald Trump false?
That would not be true now, no.
So the statement is false.
As of now, no, because someone changed it.
So when Donald Trump says that there's no tax on Social Security, that statement is false. That statement is therefore a lie.
As of now, like today, yes.
Okay, so right now, today, Donald Trump is lying.
Did he say that right now, today?
Yes, he
Right,
said that
sorry.
after the bill passed. He said no tax on Social Security. This is what the bill includes. Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
Like that
Yes, that
happened
is
right
my
now.
claim. Yes, that he did this
now you're
before the
lying.
bill passed, and he did this after the bill passed.
Provide
It's being
the clip
reported
of
on by
it
fucking
happening right
everybody.
now with
Bro,
the timestamp.
literally go to his goddamn Truth Social account. You will see a
No,
post saying no
you-
tax on
you made
Social
the
Security
statement.
from last night.
You made the statement. Provide that statement right now, today.
I'm
right now.
giving it to you. Donald J. Trump on Truth Social posting a graphic saying no tax on Social Security last night after the bill passed through Congress.
No, I'm talking about right now.
Why does it matter if it's right
That's what
now?
I said. That's what I said. Did he say it right now?
He
That
said
was
it
my exact words.
last
I repeated
night.
it 5 times.
He said it last night after the bill passed?
Again, we're going to go back to there are enough pages in this bill to be the same length of the trilogy of Lord of the Rings, and we still got a benefit.
Hey, everybody, this is what a very estranged, deranged cult member looks like. He can't even admit that Donald Trump was lying when Donald Trump straight up lied. This is what deranged cult members look like.
Why do you have to personally attack people that you disagree with in a debate?
Man,
It's a scientific thing.
man, the thing here is like that personal attack, quote unquote, was
Yeah.
as true as the claim that the sky is blue.
Oh, okay. I'm
And
sure of
I have,
that.
I have a question. You know, I just want to see like the bounds of your cult mentality here. Would you vote for Donald Trump if he perved on naked teenage girls? Would you still support him?
Yeah, you're gonna pull up this clip. You tried to do that earlier when you started the stream earlier.
Yeah, I
and
mean, I want to see what your take on this is as a member of a cult that also happens to be a father of what seems to be a little girl in your profile picture. Let's go ahead and roll the clip and let's see what your thoughts are.
As
Conflict?
yes.
I don't see it as a
It
conflict.
could be a conflict of interest, but you know, it's the kind of thing you worry about later.
Oh, I see.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later on.
question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, you know, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now, tell
Well,
me
I'll
what-
tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, you know, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. You know, I'm inspecting. I want to
right.
make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
So this man has a daughter, but this man is also like just straight up a member of the Trump cult. So what is your takeaway there?
Wait a minute. So you're going to use him talking about how he has to inspect the people of a beauty pageant and saying that they're beautiful, good-looking women, when the whole point of judging a pageant, beauty pageant, is how good-looking the women are? What?
Okay, all right.
That's
so,
the whole purpose. So every judge of a beauty pageant is that same person, and they're a creep, and they go after little girls?
So the beauty pageant, the pageant judges, they'll judge.
He owns the pageant.
So the judges they'll judge them when they're on stage. Right.
Oh my
Donald Trump
God.
didn't look at them while they were on stage. I mean, as he said in the clip,
He said that they were beautiful, they look good, and you're going to sit here and say he's going after little girls. But you got another guy who's dimensional.
He went into
He has
their,
dimension, and he's
hey,
talking about...
Hey, goat man. He
Oh,
went
sorry.
into their changing room
Yeah.
where only women and teenage girls were before the show without their consent to look at them while they're naked.
Oh my God, he literally just said that I'm there to inspect the pageant. It would be no different than any other owner.
I don't see it as a
So
could-
just listen.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later
The
on.
question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now, tell me
I'll
what-
tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Okay, so right now, already off the bat, we know that he's going backstage before the show. Judges don't go back. One moment. Judges
Keep
don't
going.
go backstage before the show. Judges judge during the show. So that first comment was ridiculous.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And,
So he goes backstage before the show while everyone is getting dressed and ready. Okay, so we now know that they're in their dressing room.
no men are anywhere.
And this comment is even like further justified because he just said no men are anywhere. Listen to that.
Before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere.
So he's going into the woman's dressing room before the show where there's no men.
And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay?
So then he says that he's allowed to do it because he's the owner, meaning that he allowed himself. And he says he does it because he's inspecting it as a joke to cover up the fact that he wants to look at the women and the girls. And this quote-unquote joke is picked up on by the woman sitting in the room because she laughs. And this joke is also picked up on by Howard Stern because he says, right, you're like a doctor, right? Okay, no, he's not like a doctor. He's not a doctor. He's not a doctor at all. He's a businessman. So obviously, you're just making another counter joke to Donald Trump's first joke. And then listen to what Donald Trump says.
Hey, they're standing there with no clue. Is everybody okay? And
So then we know that he's going backstage to quote unquote inspect it. That's a joke. And they're standing there with no clothes. So they're naked. That's what you are when you have no clothes on. You're naked. So he's going back there to look at them while they're naked.
you see these incredible looking women.
And then he even affirms that. He says that he's looking at them while they're naked in a woman's dressing room. And he's seeing them. And now he's talking about how incredible they look like without clothes on.
And so I sort of get away with things like that.
And he knows he's not supposed to do this. He knows that he as a man isn't supposed to go into a woman's dressing room where there's no men around, only women, with naked teenagers and naked adult women, to look at them while they're naked. And then, therefore, at the end, he says that he kind of gets away with that because he owns it and he allows himself to do it. And none of the women or girls really spoke up at the time. So do we understand now this isn't just the same as like a judge of a beauty pageant?
So, well, I've got a few counter statements there. One, provide any fact of people being offended or bothered because he went in there and it wasn't just an inspection.
Okay, for sure. Well, first and foremost, when a man goes into a woman's only space where there's naked women,
Okay.
that's gonna be set up to be a bother. And then second of all, it doesn't matter if it didn't bother, like for instance, the teenagers, because teenagers can't consent to that. It doesn't matter if a 25-year-old man sleeps with a 15-year-old and that 15-year-old girl doesn't seem immediately bothered because they're 15. They were raped, right? But third of all, they were bothered. Many of them have spoken out about this. In fact, we have one of them come up on this live all the time. Her name is Victoria. She was one of the 16 or 17-year-old contestants at the Miss Teen USA beauty pageant. And she comes up onto this live every so often, and she'll talk about how Donald Trump would walk backstage before a show. And you could even read the testimony of around 10 other of these women, some as young as 15, and how this happened to them and how it was incredibly traumatic.
You can provide that?
Yeah, for sure, you could read their
No,
testimony for
you can
yourself.
provide that right now, that there are statements and testimonies.
Yeah, for sure.
At this specific beauty pageant he's talking about.
Yes. But can we agree that even if there wasn't from any of the teenagers, that's still wrong because teens can't consent to that?
You're going to tell me that the parents of the teenagers aren't there either? I mean, I wouldn't send my kid to a pageant by themselves.
Do you think that a parent can consent to a teenager being perved on by an old man?
If they were telling me that's the whole point of a beauty pageant is people looking at teenagers clammed up, dude. I don't know what else to tell you. I think they're weird in the first place. I think
You're a father.
you're glorifying young women and children in the first place.
So you're a father of a young daughter. Do you think you have the right?
I'm not.
Is that a young son?
Yes.
Do you think that you have the right, as the father of that son, to consent to having older people take pictures of your son while your son is naked?
If I was dumb enough to send my kid in, it's no different than a baby commercial for diapers.
Can you answer my question? Do you think that you have the right to consent to 65-year-old men looking at your son while he's naked?
I wouldn't allow it.
Do you think
That's
that
my
you have the
responsibility as a
right?
father.
Do you think that you have the right to allow it? Do you think if you did allow it, that you would be violating the consent of your child?
They have no choice in the matter whatsoever. It's my decision as the parent. And I wouldn't put my kid in that situation. That's why I think pageants are weird in the first place. I would never.
Amen. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I think that you don't deserve to have any custodial rights over your child. So for those watching, their handle is goatman91096. It's going to be their handle. If there happens to be anybody in here that's good at has like facial recognition software,
You can find me. It's fine. Nothing I said was wrong.
Okay,
I just said that the kid doesn't get to make the decision.
What's your name?
I would never put them in that situation.
Okay, what's your name?
And why are you trying to dox people, dude? That's weird.
Because I want to find who you are so I could call CPS and have them take your child away from you.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure you would like to try to do that.
Yes, I would. So
They would never even do it. That's the best part.
Okay. What's
Because
your name?
I would take the part, and I have a witness sitting here who's heard me say I would never put my child in that situation.
Okay. So what's your name?
So don't worry, move the goalpost too, by the way.
So you said that you think that parents have every right to exploit and traffic their children. So
No, that's not what I said.
So I'm not going to debate it with you. That is what you said. So I just putting this out there for anybody. Feel free to take his profile picture. Maybe you could go on to TikTok.com/his handle. You could save his profile picture, run it through some reverse image search. Maybe it will link back to a Facebook or something where you could find his name. And if you do find said information, that's public, by the way.
You're more than welcome
Feel
to.
free
There's
to
nothing
feel
wrong
free
with
to
what I
take that
said.
information and report it to CPS. Feel free to take that information and report it to the law authorities in his area. Feel free to take that information and report it to maybe his local CPS, etc. Child Protective Care, Child Protective Services. Feel free to do that. I'll go ahead and leave him on the live for around another 20 or 30 seconds here before we kick him, just so you guys, anybody that's interested in trying to do this, can grab his profile picture. Anybody. By the way, this is all screen recorded over on the YouTube stream. So I'll leave him up here for a little bit longer, so you guys can get his profile picture, get his name. Goatman, feel free to unmute. Is there any information, maybe even his following list here? Is there any information that you'd like to give us about yourself? Maybe what state you live in, what your name is, any information like that?
Oh yeah, I live in Wisconsin. I have my kid. You're not going to do what you think you're going to do. I don't know what your intent is here.
Okay.
You're doxing someone because you're losing a debate.
What's your name?
My name's Thomas.
So Thomas from Wisconsin. What's your last name?
You're not entitled to that.
Okay, so Thomas from Wisconsin. That's a really good start. So he's from Wisconsin.
Yep.
Is your name Thomas or Nicholas?
No.
Your name is not Nicholas?
So hang on. So you said that I.
Okay. So his name
Hang
is
on. Wait.
his name is Nicholas.
No, it's not actually. That's funny.
Okay, great. So you guys have now gotten everything that you need. Just know that like I am totally fine with you guys making that report. I mean, I think that we can all agree here that we care about children's safety. And that was a father that said that he believes he has every right to exploit and traffic his child, and that the child has no say. So I don't mind if you guys take that information. Now, don't post this on the internet. Keep this information with the authorities. You know, don't post this information on the internet. Use any information that you're able to find to go to the authorities. I fully support that. I don't support turning around and posting it on the internet. Take it to the authorities. And anybody in the chat who says that was too far, I very strongly and staunchly disagree with you. I don't think that that's too far. I think that is a responsible obligation that any good person in society would have to do. We have an obligation to look out for our children. We really do. We really do, you guys. So we're going to go to move on to the next guest now. But once again, don't take that information and post it on the internet. Don't take that information and like spam it in my chat. You take that information and you take it to the authorities. So, I mean, I really hope that there's at least one person out of the 11,000 people watching right now that has the, you know, the technical know-how, the ability and the skill to find that information, and the desire to then turn around and take it to the authorities. You could also find the clip of him saying that he believes he has every right to exploit his child off of my YouTube stream. And yeah, we look out for children here. We're gonna go to move on to the next guest. Everybody, just give us a minute here while we're getting the next guest Scrappy up in the live, y'all. And make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen in the meantime. Everybody, do just be patient while we're getting the next guest up here. All right, we're gonna go to move on to the next guest. Everyone, just do be patient for the 9.4 thousand people watching the stream, guys. Make sure that you're double tapping away on that phone screen, y'all. And make sure to share this live with a handful of friends as well while we move on to the next guest. All right, we're going to get that next Trump supporter up in the box. Go ahead and drop a Maga down below. If you'd like to join up, everybody, we're just looking for the next Trump supporter. Let's go and get Seth loaded up in here. We're going to go to get Seth loaded up in here. What's going on? Do you support Trump, Seth?
I do.
All right. Are you as insane as the last guest is?
No, I'm not actually.
Okay, great. Well, let's go ahead and hop into our conversation. But quickly before we do, I'd like to thank Nurse Susan. Thank you so much for the $50 over on YouTube Super Chat. Let's get 500 Susan W's down below. Nurse Susan says, he even says, I get away with it. If everything was okay, he would have never have said that. Absolutely, Nurse Susan. Nurse Susan. That guy was just completely deranged, completely just detached from reality. As well as Alicia, thank you for the $15 over on Venmo. Alicia says, Dean, I'm 35 and the mother of 2 young boys. The red pill diet really scared me for their future, but men like you are carving a new path for young men and has given me so much hope. Keep working hard. I tune in most days and I've learned so much from you. Thank you, Alicia. If you're watching and you'd like to support me on Venmo, my usual Venmo is down right now. However, in the link tree in my bio, I do have like a temporary backup Venmo. The handle is just literally Withers Backup. You could find it in the link tree, and I get 100% of the proceeds over there, as well as on PayPal. It's just the regular PayPal. Adam, thank you so much for the $50 over on PayPal, guys. Let's show some love to Adam down below in that chat. Let's get at least 500 Adam W's. Adam says, Dean, you're truly a great person. Keep on doing what you're doing. Adam, I really appreciate you so much for your kindness and generosity. Show some love to Adam, Susan, and Alicia down below. But anyways, take it away, Seth. Why do you support Trump?
Oh, what's up, man? First, thank you. I want to say thank you for letting me on here. I got to be short and sweet because I'm about to get picked up. But so I just want to follow off what that last guy was saying. I do not agree with how he was jumping around, like saying when he was avoiding your questions about Trump saying how he's a pedophile in the pageants, whatever. I think that's wrong, and I think most politicians are wrong. But I support Trump because all in all, it comes down to my life, and I'm a low-class person. I work 45 hours a week. I don't make a lot of money, but either way, politicians are fucked up, and nothing they do is going to be right. They're always in it for the money, and for me, it just comes down to stuff like I pay taxes for illegals to get free stuff, and I have nothing against that. Like, I think they should be able to come to America and get what they want.
What state do you live in?
I live in Ohio. And there's a lot of illegals here, and my city has a lot.
I don't think that Ohio is going to have like any like statewide benefits for undocumented immigrants. So you actually like not a single dollar in the taxes that you pay goes to undocumented immigrants.
Oh, okay. See, I don't even know that.
And then also, like you said, that how much money do you make annually on average? If you also just want to give me a ballpark range, that's fine.
I'm not afraid of saying that. I'm 23. I'm young. I just started working full time recently. I make 22 an hour right now.
22
I'm a
an hour.
salesman, and
So
So-
you're actually going to pay more in taxes because of the big beautiful bill. We have a model from the University of Pennsylvania, particularly their business school of Wharton. All Americans that make under around $51,000 per year will have tax hikes. So I mean that tax hike will impact you. So
yeah.
will the increase in the cost of energy. So the average American household is going to pay an additional $400 per year for energy. That's because they are cutting, a lot of clean energy credits, and we are going to see a reduction in the productive capacity of renewable energy production by around 72%. And then also, if you happen to be like on any like services like the ACA, Medicaid, or even food stamps, I mean, maybe you make a little bit more than that, so you don't qualify for those benefits. But if you did, I mean, 17 million Americans are going to be cut off from healthcare, and around 3 million Americans are going to be cut off of food stamps. And if you happen to have any children or want to have children, around 18 million children in school are going to be denied free school lunches because of the BBB. So this is going to personally negatively impact you.
Yeah, I see. That's the thing, is I'm not as educated on that stuff, and that is good to know. And like I said, I'm okay with paying taxes and stuff. And I guess I wasn't aware of the illegals in Ohio. That's not going to affect me. But as long as good stuff's happening, which so far with Trump's administration, yeah, he hasn't promised. All his promises haven't led up to what he said yet. But in the end, I'm just worried about myself and the family that I'm going to create. And I'm okay, like I said, with illegals and people wanting to create opportunity here. But if we can eliminate people who are coming here for no reason, just to vote for whatever side, just to get what they want.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Why are we just brazing over
everybody.
why are we just brazing over the fact that you're going to be like personally fucked by Donald Trump's policy?
I'm not going to be.
Yes, you are.
Not in my shoes.
Yes, you make $45,000 per year. You will be paying more in
Okay.
taxes. Your energy bill will be higher. You will be
Yeah,
you will be
that's
worse
true,
off
but-
because of this policy. Why do you support him if he's going to
Early
make you
on-
worse off?
So early on, yeah, it's going to be worse off because you're going to need
This
people
isn't
to
an
buy
early
in.
on thing. No, this is
Well,
like
he just
this
got
is a
elected.
federal
He just-
tax policy thing.
Yeah, but so if everything goes to plan, like you guys aren't liking how they're eliminating all these illegals and trying to lower people in this country. They're trying to get rid of everybody who's in here for not the reasons they should be. And I know
You're saying that
Democrats
his
aren't
administration
that,
just started
but-
and it's early on in the plan. No, the plan
Yeah,
was
so
to pass
later
the big,
on, once they finally
the plan was to pass the big beautiful bill. The big beautiful bill is going to increase your taxes and make you pay more for energy. Your living expenses will go up and your after-tax income will go down.
Well, I wasn't aware of that. Like I said, I'm very uneducated on this stuff, but
Okay, so why do you still support
It's-
Trump even though he's going to make your living expenses go up and your after-tax income go down?
I support Trump for reasons like I've been saying. It's money is not like the all everything. If they're putting my money to a good cause, that's great. That's why people like me are sick of illegals getting everything. Like they get all my tax money. Like
There's
to
not
go to
a single
hospital,
there's not a
if
single
I get in an
dollar that you
accident at
pay in
work-
taxes that goes to undocumented immigrants.
okay, maybe not me, but everybody, a lot of people in the country.
No,
have to-
undocumented immigrants
pay for
actually
these
pay more in
people.
taxes than what they collect in benefits. They pay $100 billion per year in benefits and taxes and don't qualify for any federal forms of assistance such as SNAP, food stamp, Section 8, Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, etc. In fact, the only time that the money that you pay in taxes is directly going to undocumented immigrants is on expenses such as ICE, right? Like now they've
that
increased
stuff-
the
that is what
10-year
I'm-
budget for
I'm
ICE to
advocating for that.
$156 billion, $256 billion. Like now that is
So
the
if
money
my
that you're paying in
taxes are
taxes going
going-
directly to undocumented immigrants. Also, like the 88 billion per year for the cost of the deportation. That is the money that you're paying in taxes that is now going directly to undocumented immigrants. Okay, right? Like once
So
again,
if my money's going to ICE, that's fine with me because, like I said, I want these people gone. Like if they're going to be here for a good reason, they can be, but you can't
So-
just come here and take jobs and like this is America. Like you can come here and become a good citizen if you do the right thing and do it the right way, but you can't take advantage of that. You're biting the hand that feeds you in the long run.
okay. So
Like,
now,
I'm not trying
so
to
now you're
dis-
telling us that you
Democrats,
understand.
but the Republican Party.
Okay, can I talk real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So now you're
I
telling
gotta
us.
go.
So now you're telling us that you understand
I'm
that the
listening,
Trump
sorry.
administration is going to make you worse off. They are going to make you pay more in taxes. They are going to make you pay more for the bare necessities to live. And even though you only make $45,000 per year, money's not everything, and you're okay with living more financially worse off as long as we could get all the undocumented immigrants gone. So please name one positive outcome
Early
of
on,
mass,
yes.
please name one positive outcome of mass deportation on America or anybody in America.
Okay, that's easy. So if we deportate people who aren't supposed to be here, then people who are actually here, they were born here, and their parents have been here for generations, they now can get off their ass and go get a job and provide for their family like they're supposed to. But you got these Democrats who advocate for, oh, get on unemployment and go sit on your ass all day. And then if we load up the place with illegals, they'll vote Democrat too, and then we'll just win over and over.
Okay,
And
so your two claims are that mass
Your
deportation will ensure that there's more Americans working and that there's not these undocumented immigrants voting for Dems. Okay, so to your first point, well, how many undocumented workers are working in America today?
I have no idea. Like I said, I'm very uneducated.
I
I'm
can
just
tell
an
you're
average guy.
uneducated.
That's why
I can tell. I can
That's
tell.
why I wanted to be on here, because most of the people aren't as educated. So
Right.
I'm speaking for the average person. Like,
Right.
I
Okay.
do
Okay.
know-
Okay. Well, I'll go to
Bottom
tell
line
you.
is-
I'll go to tell you. So there's 8.3 million undocumented workers in the American labor force, and how many open job opportunities are there today? 8 million. So what doesn't make sense to me is, well, Americans obviously aren't filling the 8 million job opportunities that already exist. So why would they fill the 8.3 million job opportunities that would open via mass deportation? And then my second point here is, right, even though we know that's not going to happen, or else they'd be filling the job opportunities that already exist, for whatever reason, if Americans did fill every single job created via mass deportation, the economy would still be worse off. Because although we can place the laborers on the supply side of the American economy, we can't place the consumers on the demand side of the American economy. So when we remove the 12 million undocumented consumers, right, the American economy will forever be worse off, and there'll actually be less jobs in this country because there's less of an incentive to produce more goods with higher productive capacities because you have less individuals buying those goods. So I'll consolidate everything I just said down to 2 points. First point, the jobs opened by undocumented workers, they're not going to be immediately filled by Americans, or Americans would have filled the 8 million job opportunities already open. And the second point, even if an American did fill every job opportunity created via mass deportation, the economy would still be worse off because we'd have 12 million less consumers.
So, okay, my counter argument to that would be, there's 8 million or so jobs that they're not filling, us Americans. The reason of that is because these illegals, they have nothing, and they'll do anything to make what they want. And a lot of them have their hearts are in the right place. Like, my city is full of them, and they're all good people. Guatemalans, they're all really good people, really good workers. But they take jobs because they accept like half the rates, and then the bosses of these companies would love to have them around because they're not paying them anything. And they're accepting it.
Why do
These
undocumented
Americans-
workers accept lower wages on average?
Why do they do that? Because they have to. Because they're not even in the system. So if they argue and say, no, I deserve more, then they'd be like, well, you can't argue that because you don't even exist in our system. So
Because
you're
they
just
have
gonna-
less bargaining power because they don't have a legal or
do.
permanent residency or status. So, in other
Correct.
words, what
And
you're
if they
telling
went
me
the right-
is if
if
we
they did
did
it
offer the
illegal-
undocumented immigrants in this country a pathway to residency or citizenship through mass amnesty, then they'd have just as much bargaining power as Americans. So they wouldn't have
would.
any negative impacts on the job market. And
Correct.
we wouldn't have
Because
a
they'd be
worse off
spending more
economy
money.
through mass deportation. So, in other words, you're basically telling us that you support mass amnesty for any and all undocumented immigrants.
Yeah, I do. What is amnesty exactly? Before I fuck
Letting the
myself up.
undocumented immigrants stay in this country and just give
Oh,
them
yeah,
residency
no.
or citizenship.
Sorry, yeah, no, you can't do that unless they do it legally and they're here for 7 years and do it the way you're supposed
mass
to.
amnesty would be a legal process.
Okay, yeah, that's the thing. If they were legal here, they'd be making more money and they'd be spending more money, which would then improve the economy.
So you think
But-
that now the undocumented immigrants should stay in America and just be offered
not.
residency or citizenship?
No, I think they should go back and have a chance to legally come back and then 7 years be a citizen, get a job, make as much as you should instead of $4 an hour. They can make a good salary and then they'd be spending more. And in turn, the economy will be better here.
Why should we make them leave first? Why shouldn't we just be offering
They don't
them
have to leave. They just need to go
Right.
to whatever facility handles that stuff, and they need to do it the right way instead of hiding. And like I said, they're good people.
So they stay in the country and they go to like a government building and they get residency or they get
I don't know how the
citizenship.
process works.
So
Like I said.
that's what mass amnesty is.
Okay.
Okay, and
Well,
did you know that mass amnesty is completely adjacent and opposed to mass deportation? You cannot support both mass deportation and mass amnesty, and because you
Okay.
support mass amnesty, you oppose mass deportation.
I guess if that makes sense.
So you
Well,
no
here's
longer
my thing.
support mass
If I was to
deportation.
go, if I was to go to another country and try to get citizenship, they would like it's so hard. Like I'm an American, they'd be like, oh, like there'd be such a process, and here they can just walk in scot free. Like, and I have no problem with that as long as. But half these people are creating like they're violent. They're from violent places. They're not used to how tame it is here. You know what I mean? Like they I hate to be like it's gonna sound racist, but they cause a lot of crime. They just do.
Okay,
Yeah.
what is going on? What is going on with the guest today? So yes, that was just a
Like,
belligerent.
see, okay.
Oh, can I talk? Can I talk now? Can you listen? Can I talk?
I have to actually go. I appreciate.
No,
you letting me talk.
no, buddy. I'm gonna go ahead and check you on that real quick. So you said that they come from violent places and they aren't used to how quote unquote tame it is here. Yeah, that is just belligerently racist. But fun fact: undocumented immigrants are actually less violent than citizens. Like statistically, they are 2.5 times less likely to commit violent crimes. You silly fucking goose. You are an American-born citizen, I'm gonna guess. You are statistically speaking more violent than the average undocumented immigrant. So what the fuck are you doing with this racist ass rhetoric, trying to say they're not used to how tame it is here? They come from violent places. They're less violent than you on average. Okay, like literally, if we're just looking at statistics, if I had to put like my daughter alone in a room with like let's just say like a grown adult man, it would be a statistically smarter choice to make sure that she is alone in that room with an undocumented immigrant compared to a citizen.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I wasn't listening. I have to go. I appreciate
You weren't listening. I told you that they're 2.5
No.
times less likely to be violent on average. You are statistically speaking more likely to be violent than undocumented immigrants. So when you said that they come from violent places and they aren't used to how fucking quote unquote tame it is, also no, it's not tame. We have a rapist as a president. I digress. It was a big fat bold faced lie that only just amounts to more like incredibly disingenuous racist rhetoric to demonize individuals from other countries. It's just a culmination of racism and xenophobia.
Okay, I'm just a patriot, and I'm not trying to sound like that. It's just I got to put my people first, man, and that's just the bottom line. My family, people that I grew up with.
You don't even put your quote-unquote people first. You just told us that you support Trump even though he's making you and your family worse off by giving you a lower after-tax income and higher bills
make
because
me
he's
worse
increasing
off.
the price of your energy.
Here's the reason it doesn't make me worse off. We just successfully carried out a attack on Iran, bombed the shit out of them, and that set them back years on their nuclear program. That's
Early
all.
U.S. intelligence report says months,
Okay,
and we
whatever,
don't
you
even
can
know
say
where their
whatever you
enriched
want.
uranium is, and they pulled
Okay.
out oversight from the IAEA, meaning that we no longer can track their uranium enrichment levels. But I just want to clarify that now your counter-argument, even though now you know that mass deportation weakens the American economy, and his tax policy is going to make you worse off, literally like increasing your taxes and making you pay more for like your bills to live, you're saying that this is all good because we bombed Iran?
I'm saying my tax money is going to good things. We're like that is a good thing. We can't just let people like that with crazy ideologies just bomb the fuck out of people just because they want. We didn't even kill anybody. We just set them back, and that's that. Put them in their place.
Your tax dollars going to tax cuts for billionaires. You understand that the big beautiful bill that just passed is single-handedly the most expensive policy in America in American history. In American history, $4 trillion. Okay, and the only people that it benefits is the top 20% of income earners in this country, with the vast majority of that going to top 1% earners, giving million and billionaires an additional hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax cuts breaks per year. Like that is where your money is going. That is where your money is going, sir. And then even about the operation on Iran, I explained how it only set them back by months. That's coming from early U.S. intelligence reports. And now that led the Iranian parliament into revoking oversight clearance from the IAEA, which is a an international nuclear watchdog. So now we don't even know where they're at with the development of their nuclear weapons. And now Russia has sent state scientists to Iran to help them develop and enrich uranium. So it actually only ensured that they're going to get nukes quicker, and we don't know when we're going to get them because all of a sudden we no longer have intelligence from the IAEA.
Okay, well, if all that's conflicting reports are true, I guess we're fucked, and I'm wrong. But like I said, I'm not as educated, and I'm glad you let me talk here. I appreciate it. I do have to go, and all I ask, I'm not saying you have to be this side versus that side. I just want everybody to be united here, and please just don't treat people like you're like rude. I'm not saying you do that, but like people that are arguing, like yes, they have unbiased takes, and they're afraid to admit Trump is a weirdo, which I'm not afraid to admit that. Yeah, he is, and a lot of people are. Just how politicians are, and yeah, just be kind out there. Thank you guys. Sorry if I don't agree with your ideology.
I'll say the same for yourself. Don't call people illegals that come from crazy violent countries and they just aren't used to how tame they are in America.
Yeah, when I say illegal, I'm not meaning it in a bad way. I'm just saying technically that's their term. I'm not meaning
because
that.
that's technically how it's defined. Just like white supremacists technically define the N-word as black people.
If I was a white guy from Italy, which my heritage is from, and I moved here illegally, I would be illegal even though I'm not of color. That's all I'm saying. It's just my family did the right process and we were legal, and that's just how you're supposed to do it. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. You guys.
Yeah, what is going on with the guests today? Like literally, what is up with what is going on with these people? These people are crazy. It's been everybody today. It's been every single person today. So like what we learned from that last guest is that he's okay with literally being worse off, paying more in taxes and paying more for bills, so we could deport all of the quote unquote illegals, and that'll be good in the long run. Then I explain how no, actually mass deportation is bad for the economy. It'll hurt him in the long run. Then his argument is they're not used to how tame America is, and they come from super violent countries. Then I'm like, okay, well, actually, undocumented immigrants are 2.5 times less likely to be violent than you, sir, statistically speaking. Just doesn't even respond to it. And it's like, well, at least we bombed Iran. What is going on today? This is outrageous. And then that first guest was saying that they had the right to exploit and traffic their kid. What is going on, man? We're going to move on to the next guest today. Like we're seriously, like we're talking to some crazy motherfuckers today. I'm not going to lie. My guard is up. My guard is up today. Let's go and move on to the next guest. And Jay, thank you so much for the $125 donation over on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much for the love, Jay. Y'all show some love to Jay down below in the chat for the $125 donation. Jay, that is seriously so incredibly kind of you. Show some love to Jay down below. Jay says, I've run out of accolades for you and Parker, but I will say this on a daily basis.
Echo, hello.
On a daily basis, acts of cruelty towards the American people spew forth from this administration, and it seems like you can always find a MAGA person who can find something to laugh at and defend. Respect. Jay, I appreciate you so much for being here, and thank you so much for the $125 super chat. I want to see at least 2,000 JWs down below. Yeah, man, the Trump supporters are just so bad today. They're literally like so fucking bad today. Absolutely unreal. Thank you so much for the love. Everybody show some love to Jay down below in that chat. And then also, I don't even know if the Venmo is working. So I have like that new backup Venmo at Withers Backup. I don't think it's working. I don't know. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
I do, Dean.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 20.
Same age as me. Why the fuck do you support such a terrible president?
Okay, well, so I had a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree or disagree with the, budgets, or is it house.budgets.gov?
You're talking about the CBL?
Yeah, about why illegal immigrants are a fiscal drain on the U.S. government.
No, I strictly disagree with those reports because they include citizens as undocumented immigrants, and I think that's just a fundamental miscategorization.
Okay, so you just disagree with that .gov altogether?
Well, yeah, and my reasons is that they would classify like the citizen children of undocumented immigrants as a drain from undocumented immigrants, like particularly like education expenses or SNAP benefits allotted from the federal government to said children. But like, here's my take: even if it was the case that like undocumented immigrants are like a total drain on our government, well, I still think that mass amnesty would be the better solution because we're only going to drain the economy more if we're just now spending $125 billion on ICE. And if we offered undocumented immigrants mass amnesty, right, all of a sudden they'd be able to garner higher wages because they'd have more bargaining power, and they'd be significantly more incentivized to work over the table. Because they'd be able to file for a tax return at the end of the year and have access to federal benefits. And because they have a higher labor force participation rate, because more of them are of age to work, I'm led to believe that if they were naturalized, that they would be a larger productive provider into the economy on average compared to citizens. Like
Okay,
compared to
that
the
makes
pre-existing citizens.
that is a solid point, and I don't think I can really argue that. Like honestly,
Yeah,
I
man,
mean,
you'd be surprised, man. I know that mass amnesty is like typically kind of viewed as like some contrarian, like far left idea.
yeah,
But when we kind of like explore like the motivations behind it, it makes a whole lot of sense.
I I don't know if mass amnesty would be the correct way to do it. I'm not saying you're wrong, and I'm not saying I'm right, because like the only way to know would be to do one or the other. Correct? Like,
Well, I mean, not necessarily. I'd say that we like have enough predictive knowledge to determine that mass amnesty is better than mass deportation. Like one is just really good for the economy, one is really bad for the economy, and other
okay,
concerns like national security. Like maybe you'll like conjure up a counter argument that there's some undocumented immigrants that are like gang members, violent criminals, etc. Even though like they're less likely to be compared to pre-existing citizens on average. Okay, well, like if
okay.
you have a prior violent offense, then you don't get mass amnesty and you do get deported. You know.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. Could you deport illegal immigrants that have what do you call it? Like you said, previous violent history and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that,
of
and
course,
gang ties and stuff like that.
of course.
Like, so would you be opposed to something like that, or that would be your
No,
stance on it?
no, that is my
So
stance on it.
okay, so what's the issue on the other side that falls with mass amnesty? If you like, could you play devil's advocate? Because I don't know what the
I can't.
opposite
I
would
can't. I
be.
can't play devil's advocate with this issue. I can't identify any problems with it.
So you don't think there'd be any problems with mass amnesty?
No, it is. It is categorically better than mass deportation in every single way.
Okay. You don't think there'd be any risk to mass amnesty?
I can't identify any. Can you?
So what about gang members that are unidentifiable?
Okay. Well, I mean, isn't that
Ooh,
also like some risk that would exist for legal immigration as is, or
that
tourism,
is
etc.?
very true. That is very true.
Right. So if, I
But
mean, if that's a
as of
reason that
right
we should
now,
ultimately reject mass amnesty, well, then like your logic
okay.
would also imply that we should just stop all tourism into America and stop all legal immigration into America.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Right. Right. So that's
So,
going to be like a low risk that we have calculated as being a risk that we want to take for tourism and legal immigration. So why wouldn't we also be okay with taking that risk for amnesty?
okay. Do you think there would be an overpopulation, overcrowding issue in that?
Right now, our issues with undercrowding, our birth rate is shrinking. We see that the more educated somebody is, the significantly less likely they are to have children. And with like a higher GDP per capita and a society that's better off, like average education levels go up as well. So like not only is our birth rate nearly unsustainable as it is today, but it's only expected to become more unsustainable as time goes on. So if anything, right, that would be necessary to prevent underpopulation.
Do you think that correlates with lower income households not being able to afford children?
I mean, what's the data on it? I'd have to look at the data. I don't know. I'm actually led to believe that like the less money a household makes, the more likely they are to have children. I don't know.
Really?
Like on the
So,
macro scale, I don't know. Let me see.
yeah, and of course I don't have, a computer up or anything to look nothing up. So,
I mean, let me see. Yeah, fertility rates in America generally decline as income increases.
really? Okay.
Yeah, it looks like I have a little bit of a graphic pulled up here. Yep. So relationship between fertility and income. So yeah, birth rates, there's a positive correlation between income going up and the birth rate declining. And that's because like the higher your income is, the more likely you are to kind of be satisfied in life without children, and the more
Yeah.
educated you are. And for whatever reason, we see a really strong correlation between education and lower fertility rates. And I mean, we see this worldwide. Like, just the better a country is off, like the happier their citizens are, the more money they have, the more education they have, the less likely they are to have kids.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And obviously, like, you want this country to be better off, right? You want
Yeah.
people to be happier. You want people to be more educated. But like the tangent of that is just that you want people to have less kids. So
I mean,
like if like
I
the
mean,
ultimate
I
claim
don't
that we
think.
can agree on is that we want people to like as like a third order consequence here, I have less kids because we want people to be happier, richer, and more educated, then like we should also like support policy to sustain the population of this country via immigration, and that would include something such as mass amnesty. So I'd say like a concern of stating that mass amnesty could lead to overpopulation in a country with a declining birth rate is ultimately just going to be like nonsense.
So as of right now, we're kind of talking about, of course, what ifs, but mass deportation is happening, whether, you could stop it or not, correct?
Right.
So, in the next, in the next term or the next, whatever, would you support something as like reforming the immigration policy to stop illegal immigration from happening?
I think that we should do that right now, but Donald Trump will never do it. The ultimate incentive for undocumented entry is going to be unattainable legal means of entry, right?
Okay.
And the way that we stop undocumented entry is by removing that incentive and making the legal means of entry into this country significantly easier and significantly faster and significantly more attainable for as many people as possible. Like that is how we
Do you
stop
think
undocumented
that could
entry.
have any? Do you think that could have any negative side effects?
Like what? I mean, we literally like typically only see like on the macro level positive side effects from immigration.
Okay. And I mean, it's really hard when you do see specific incidences of like, I know, I can't like really back this with much, but I know when we were in the Middle East, we were having issues with, terrorists coming over into America,
A lot
stuff like
of those were just false flags.
Okay,
and not
okay.
true.
Okay. And I mean, all it takes is one to, I mean, 9/11 wasn't committed by, 50 million people. It was, a couple guys.
Okay, and like what does this mean?
So how could you stop something like that from occurring?
By like mitigating risk, doing background checks on the people that are coming into the country, et cetera. But at the end of the day, like ultimately, you are always going to have like some individuals that are able to bypass those systems. But I mean, like this is like the same question as like, well, because ultimately speaking, we are always going to have some school shootings, regardless of our ability to mitigate risk via like metal detectors, security on a school campus, or like more restrictive gun laws to prevent children from possessing firearms, or like even better mental health resources for the children of a school so that they aren't incentivized to shoot up a school in the first place. Like ultimately, you still are going to have some school shootings. But does this mean that we should just shut the schools down? No. So even if like ultimately we have like some bad people come into America through the legal means of entry, does this mean that we should just shut the legal means of entry down? No.
No. So my question is the reason legal entry, the reason like it takes so long because of like background checks and like processes to keep America safer, or is it taking longer because of like the financial aspect of it?
You could get top secret clearance for the American government in less than 2 months. So I don't think that there's any reason why you should take 25 years to become a citizen. But the way I like to think about it is the reason why the legal means of entry into this country literally takes so fucking long is because it's kind of used as like a political pawn by the parties, specifically by the right, kind of by the left, more by the right.
Okay,
I could even like give you an example of this on the left. So like we don't have federal like legislation to codify like women and girls' access to abortion pushed through Congress. I believe like one of the reasons that we don't have this, even though people have been asking for it for so long, is so the Dems can continue to run on the issue. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's a reason that I could critique the Democratic Party. But on the right,
can you restate the issue again? I heard
basically I'll just keep it down to immigration policy. Basically, what I'm telling you here is that the right wants the issue of undocumented entry to perpetually exist so they can continue to run on solutions for undocumented entry, such as shutting down the border or mass deportation, because that's what people want. And it rallies support for these GOP candidates because it scares people. Okay. Right. This is like a very well-known, historically researched and historically implemented fear tactic in order to garner support from a large group of people. If you could convince, right, millions of Americans that there's some boogeyman out there that's going to eat their pets, kidnap their children, and rape their wife, like really violent, bad people, okay, and then you can convince them that you're going to be the problem solver and you have the solution for this. We need to kick them all out and shut the border down. Well, guess what? You're going to get all of them to vote for you. But I mean, if you fix the issue, if you make the legal means of entry into this country better, if you eliminate the root incentive for undocumented entry, and that issue ceases to exist, then you're not going to be able to scare millions of Americans into supporting your political party. And I mean, like, I know that this is the case because, like, objectively, we could pass policy to make the legal means of entry into America significantly better, and that would reduce undocumented entry. But why has Donald Trump never done that? He's been in the presidency for five.
So that goes with. So that goes. I have another I have another statement based off that. So if you know the right and the left are equally, well, I don't know if it's equally.
They're not equally, because even like the Biden-Harris administration tried to do something about this with the bipartisan border bill, which was a bill just to allocate more funding to hiring more judges to run more courts on the southern border to expedite all legal claims of entry, and Donald Trump shut it down.
Yes.
So do I think that the left is perfect? No, but do I think that the right is worse? Yes.
Okay, so you think, so you support the left, even though you know their imperfections and they're still doing stuff that harms you and harms like your beliefs.
Yeah, so they don't like perfectly ideologically align with me, but like the point of voting in an election,
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't for perfection. It's for like a reduction of, suffering. It's for what is going to like push for a better future, not a perfect future. You know. Because like I don't like exist in a world where I think that I could like read my theories and come up with like my perfect ideas, and that these are just going to be implemented and society is going to be awesome for everybody. Like, no, ultimately speaking, like that's just not human nature. Human nature is imperfect, but I want to push for as much perfection as possible by voting for progress.
Yeah. Honestly, like the main reason I support like the Republican side, I wouldn't really consider myself a true Republican because, you know, I mean, you're never a true Democrat or a true Republican. I mean, there is some people, but, you know, I wouldn't really consider myself a true Republican. I just like gun control, for example. I believe in the Second Amendment fully, or the
94. Thank you for the shiny eye balloon. Appreciate that.
You know, I believe in the right to bear arms, you know, fully.
You shouldn't. I don't think that you should believe that.
Why not?
Yeah, because I think that some arms are completely unnecessary. You don't need to own them, and they.
I absolutely agree with that. I believe in limitation in the government. I don't believe, you know. So I was in the military. I was infantry in the Marine Corps. So, I believe that you shouldn't be able to own a full auto machine gun. There is no civilian use for that. I don't believe you should be able to own a M32 and M320 grenade launchers.
Right. That's my point. That's my point.
Mortars. I'm saying, but and I don't think, you know, that. But I don't think you shouldn't be able to own a gun, and I don't think the means to get a gun should be harder.
Well, I think I'm okay with making the means to get a gun pretty difficult.
Really?
Yeah, for sure, of course. And when I say difficult, I just mean like like ensuring that the people that own guns are going to be like good faith actors. Like, I agree. I think that the right to bear arms is like incredibly important. Incredibly important. Like the day I turn 21, like the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a handgun, and I'm going to get a concealed carry license. Like, I need that for my personal safety, right? But like at the same time, like I don't think it should be easier to drive a car than to own a gun. I would be totally fine with like going through a class and obtaining a firearms license before you have an ability to like buy a firearm. I also think that there should be like heavy restrictions on some of the things that are just completely unnecessary, such as like silencers. Like, I really don't see a reason why individuals should be able to own silencers. So if we are to leave silencers legal, I think it should be like incredibly fucking difficult to get silencers, as well as I think that we should have very common sense gun reform that has empirically shown success in reducing firearm related instances. And I think that two things could be true at once. I think that we could have a system that rewards good faith actors that genuinely do want to own guns for like not bad means, and you have the ability to do so. But the pragmatic concern is just being able to weed out the good faith actors from the bad faith actors, and being able to, and doing that might be a little bit difficult.
So can I say something? I just saw something in the comments that said I want to put people in concentration camps so I can keep my toys.
Somebody, what did you just say?
He said, "I want to put people in concentration camps so I can keep my toys."
Well, I think that the person in the comment section kind of brings a good point up here. You're saying that you kind of want to keep your toys, even though the left doesn't want to take them away from you. So, I mean, you want to send people to Alligator Alcatraz, and you want to have fucking Abrigo Garcia getting literally tortured in a center for terrorists in El Salvador, even though he's illegally deported there. And the administration responded by saying that they don't care and that he's never coming back. Also, you could keep your toys. Yeah, that's a good fucking point.
Wasn't he? If I'm not mistaken, was he the man that they asked to leave the country like 3 different times, and he went to like 3 different trials about it?
I don't know about his prior proceedings, but what I do know is that they illegally deported him to a center for terrorists where he got literally fucking tortured. Like literally tortured. He was forced to kneel on the ground from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And if he fell out of exhaustion, he would have been beat by the guards. He was also beat by the guards. He was forced into a fucking into a pig stock, like 100 other people with bright fluorescent lights on 24/7 with no windows, where he also lost 31 pounds in 2 weeks, okay? And this is after an illegal deportation with an anonymous 9 SCOTUS ruling saying so, with the Trump administration saying that they don't care. Like, the Trump administration, totally totalitarian and fascist. They wanted to play judge, jury, and executioner without due process, without his day in court, and they broke the law and they sent him to a death camp, torture camp for terrorists. Even though he has no criminal record in this country. I mean, like, I truly do think that this one example, like, if you ask me the question, like, what is single-handedly like the most indefensible thing that the Trump administration has done so far? I would probably give you the example of Abrigo Garcia. I single-handedly think what the Trump administration did to Abrigo Garcia is like one of the most indefensible, obviously wrong, can't argue against it things that they've done.
Isn't that an ICE? Isn't that an ICE thing though? ICE immigrates people, Trump doesn't, correct?
No,
like,
the Trump administration deported him, like through the Homeland Security and Kristi Noem. But then even like Trump himself in the White House got into this on Twitter, saying that they don't care and that he's never coming back.
I mean, I don't really know this particular issue, so I can't argue either side. You know, I can't say you're wrong, you know, and I'm not gonna.
On April 10th, the Supreme Court ruled that the Trump administration illegally removed him. They also sent him for a center for terrorists. While he was in the center for terrorists, he was tortured. We now know that. He's testified about this. And in response, after the SCOTUS had told the Trump administration that he was illegally removed, the Trump administration came out and said that he's never coming back, even though when they said that, he was actively being tortured in a center for terrorists in El Salvador after being illegally removed, and they said that he's never coming back. That is by far so incredibly, that is so bad. Like, how can you defend that?
I honestly don't know the facts. I don't know either sides of it, so...
I just gave you the facts. I even told you the date when SCOTUS ruled that it was illegal.
So it was an illegal deportation?
Right.
Okay, so was he an American citizen?
No.
So was he holding a green card?
No, he was an undocumented immigrant.
So he was an illegal immigrant?
Yeah, he was undocumented.
Okay, so they deported him.
Illegally. Yeah, where he got
How was it
tortured.
illegally? How was it illegally?
Yeah, it violated his constitutional right to due process, as well as it violated a withholding order.
I mean, in this case, I thought Garcia, he went to court previously, and they told him he needed to leave the country.
No, actually, they granted him a stay, a withholding order, forbidding his removal.
Really?
Yeah.
Who? So they? Okay, I'm just trying to understand because I'm not gonna try to fight with you, and I'm not gonna argue with you, Dean, like on things, especially because you are a well-knowledged individual. You are very smart at what you do. Like, you have, great points, and you do your research. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you you're wrong. And if in that case of that he wasn't supposed to be removed, then I guess that's wrong. But if he's an illegal immigrant, what's the issue with removing him?
Because you don't have to be a citizen to be a person, and
No.
constitutional rights are given to people in this country, not citizens. And
Okay.
even though he's an undocumented immigrant, just because you're an undocumented immigrant doesn't make it okay to beat and torture you without due process
Okay.
or at all. Like, do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Like even undocumented immigrants are like still humans, just like
I
you
get
and
what
me.
you're saying.
So when
I get
you
what
like
you're saying.
when you beat and torture a human, that's wrong. Okay, especially when you beat and torture that human on an accusation that human is a member of a gang, even though it was never proved in a court that he's a member of a gang, and he never saw his day in front of a judge with an
Wait,
attorney to
didn't he
give
have
him a
MS-13
defense.
tattoos on him?
No.
Was that not the guy? Because I remember there was one that got removed and he had MS-13 tattooed on him.
What he did not have MS-13 tattooed on him.
So he was not a part of MS-13?
There's been no court that has determined he was a member of MS-13. There's been no proceedings that have made that determination. They just said he was. They alleged that he was, even though he had no criminal record in this country. And then they sent him to a center for terrorists in El Salvador, and he got beat and tortured. And it violated his constitutional right to due process. And even the 6-3 conservative-leaning Supreme Court agreed.
I have a question for you. Do you think this is kind of like what do you call it? Like, you know how you talk about like fear tactics and stuff like that? How we just kind of went over a little bit of like that political sides will use fear tactics and like they'll kind of have their agenda. You know, they'll push this like, you know, stuff like that. So if he's going to these courts and he's not proven to be MS-13, do you think that could be anywhere correlated to like people's political agendas of making deportations seem worse? In a sense, like, do you get what I'm trying to?
I don't get what you're saying. Are you responding to the fact that the Trump administration played judge, jury, and executioner and sent a man to be tortured and beat? Like, why is that not enough to make you stop supporting him?
You said judge, jury, and execute. Was he executed?
He was tortured and beat. It's a metaphor.
Okay. Well, so if he was MS-13,
okay,
so
but a court didn't determine that.
Okay, but they're trying to claim that he was MS-13, right?
It doesn't matter unless it's proven. Like, even if it's true, it hasn't been proven in a court, and we can't just be beating and torturing people illegally.
No, you cannot.
Right,
No, you
so
cannot.
why is this not enough to make you stop supporting the Trump administration?
Because I don't think that's the administration's like, you know, and at the end of the day, like, I don't think it's the administration itself, like, themselves doing it.
SCOTUS literally ruled that the Trump administration was culpable for this action. And then it was Trump's White House, not just the administration, his White House, that went on Twitter and said that he's never coming back.
Wait, hold up. I was reading one of the comments. Really?
Don't read the comments. Talk to me.
No. Sorry. I saw something about his tattoos in the comments.
Just talk to me, man.
So
the Supreme Court literally ruled that it was the Trump administration that illegally deported him. And then the Trump administration themselves, the official White House account on Twitter, went on and said that he's never coming back after SCOTUS ruled that he had to be brought back, and he was being beaten, tortured, and sea-caught.
Okay, I would say that's wrong, and that would be, you know, one thing that would deter me from.
Why is that not enough? Like Trump literally playing judge, jury, and execution, or sending people to be beaten, tortured legally.
Because, like you said, I still align with some of their beliefs.
Well, fuck them all. Literally, fuck all the other beliefs. Why are we going to embolden people that are illegally beating and torturing people?
I mean, there's been.
Like, why don't you just say throw them out? I'll find somebody else to support.
Really? Okay. But
I mean, he's illegally beating and torturing people. Yeah.
Who would be that someone? Because I don't support, you know, most democratic.
Do you think that like getting somebody illegally beaten and tortured for 3 weeks is like an impeachable offense?
I don't. Is it?
I'm asking you if you think it should be.
If it should be, that's really hard because I mean, what if it turns out that this guy was MS-13? and they're using it as
holy fucking shit. If I take a gun and I go outside and I just point at somebody random and I pull that trigger and it kills them, well, do you think I should still go to jail if it turns out that person was like a violent criminal? Like, no, I should still go to jail. I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't have enough evidence of that. Like, that's the whole plain judge or an executioner thing.
Okay.
Right, it was still unconstitutional, still illegal. After it was ruled unconstitutional and illegal, Trump administration said that he wasn't coming back. They said that they want him to stay there so he could continue to get beaten and tortured.
Okay. I can agree with you on that.
Like,
that is,
you know that like
wrong.
Clinton literally got impeached for lying, right?
Yeah.
Right. So Clinton can get impeached for lying, but Trump can't get impeached for unconstitutionally and illegally getting somebody beat and tortured.
Okay. Do you think this is like a political, like he's a political pawn for, the left or the right, like he is.
I'm just giving you the facts. I just gave you the facts of what happened to him, man. You get to determine the politics of it. I'm just giving you the facts.
Okay.
Also, are you pro-life?
I am pro-life in the sense of, I think it's, what is it? So Nevada is still an abortion state where you're allowed to get an abortion up to a certain period of time. I think it's 6 months you're allowed to get an abortion.
So you're pro. So what's your view?
So I believe in abortion up until a certain point.
What is that point?
And I believe it's 6 months.
So like 20. So for like 20 weeks.
Yeah.
So, so you think it's wrong to kill a fetus at 21 weeks, but apparently, literally, like beating and torturing somebody illegally, unconstitutionally, even after SCOTUS rules that you got to bring them back, and you say they're not going to be brought back. That's not an impeachable offense.
I don't know, man.
Why don't you know? That's outrageous. Okay, what is Donald Trump doing that makes you still support him, even though he's literally gotten people illegally beat and tortured?
So with the big beautiful bill, what do you think about the overtime?
I don't want questions. I just want you to tell me why you support him. Why do you support him?
The overtime, it's not going to be taxable anymore.
Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah, well, guess what? If you make under $55,000 per year, you're actually going to pay more in taxes, even though it says no tax on overtime. That's coming from the Wharton School of Business from the University of Pennsylvania. And even if you're a middle-class American and make it above $55,000 per year, and technically you will save more in taxes at the end of the year, well, your cost of living is going to be higher because his repeal is pulling back of the IRA clean energy credits is estimated to increase the average price of power for the average American household by $400 per year. As well as we are expected to see an increase in insurance premiums of middle-class Americans of $26,000 per year. So you're going to be worse off at the end of the day because of the BBB. So you still support Trump even though he got somebody illegally beaten, tortured for 3 weeks that lost 31 pounds because he's making your quality of life worse by either reducing your taxes if you're under $55K per year or increasing your living expenses if you're over $55K per year.
You're making a claim on something I'm not knowledgeable about, so I can't agree with you and I can't disagree with you. I already said this. There's I can't disagree with you or agree with you on the Garcia incident because I don't know the facts. So
please go do your research. Have a good rest of your day, man.
All right, you too.
We're gonna go to move on to the next guest. Here we go, everybody. If you're in that queue, make sure that means that you support Donald J. Trump. Everybody, just kind of give us a minute. As well as Chris, thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal. Chris says, thank you for what you do. Don't let these silly fucking geese get you down. Thank you for the $20, Chris. That is incredibly kind of you. As well as Lennon. Thank you so much for the Leon the Kitten, Lennon. Show some love to Leon, as well as Chris down below in that comment section. As well as Jade with the $5 saying, here's the info of that creep. I volunteer with a private org that does this kind of thing. So you found the info. Great. Thank you so much. I'll take that, and I'm also going to make a report myself. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, you were able to find exactly who that was, as well as their address. I'll personally make the report. Thank you. Janice, thank you for the $15 over on PayPal, saying I still can't believe people support that man. Yeah, man, at this point, I just don't get it anymore myself. But thank you for the $15, Janice. So show some love to Janice down below. As well as, let's see here, Amber with the $5 over on PayPal. And Joy with the $10 on PayPal, saying I'm genuinely hoping that people are opening their eyes now that our current administration is way beyond mass roundups of non-white individuals. Yeah, dude, this administration is Fox. I really hope that people open their eyes as well. Thank you for the $10, Joyce. As well as I opened up A backup Venmo account? Is that working, you guys? I can't tell if it's working or not. But let's see here. Sammy, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal. I appreciate you for that love, Sammy. Sammy says, next time somebody stresses emigrating illegally, ask them about the $5 million Trump gold card. I'd love to ask him about that. Thank you for the $10, Sammy. As well as super quickly here, thank you so much for the $20. James, I want to see at least 200 James W's down below in that chat. Thank you so much, James. James says, why do these people always pull the I'm not as educated on this card? Like, guy, you joined the live to debate. Well, I mean, it's because they likely don't know it, but like I'm giving all the sources that are required to know these things. Like they could be doing the research like as we're talking because I'm giving them everything that they need. What is going on, Mystic Ant? Do you support Trump?
Absolutely.
How old are you?
36.
Okay, well, see, from my perspective, the Trump administration is the worst administration of either of our lifetimes, and right now they're competing with Andrew Jackson for that #1 spot. What are your thoughts?
You haven't had much of a lifetime, so you can't really say that. I actually came up because you're giving out a lot of false information and not doing any research. So Abrego Garcia did have due process. He went to see 2 separate immigration judges in 2019, and I've seen the orders on those where he did get an order of removal. He was not not here in any legal status whatsoever. He had a withholding order from Guatemala, so he was not able to be deported to Guatemala. That's where the infamous clerical error came in, because then they're trying to say that it was supposed to be El Salvador. So that's where the clerical error came in. The only thing that the Supreme Court ruled...
He had due process 5 years ago!
It doesn't matter. If you're removable, you're removable. It doesn't expire.
He wasn't removable to El Salvador.
He was removable.
Well, then why did SCOTUS rule 9-0 that he wasn't?
They did not. They ruled 9-0 that there was a clerical error and that he needs to be... That withholding order needs to be rescinded before he can be deported.
So you're coming up here... Oh, so that's what made him non-removable.
With facts, need I say?
So I mean, once again, like the fact of the matter is that the Supreme Court ruled that his removal to El Salvador was illegal. Do you agree or do you disagree?
I disagree.
Okay, how much money do you want to bet? How much money do you want to bet? Let's put money on it.
Go read that court order.
Okay, sweet. You seem confident.
They did not say it was illegal.
You seem confident. Let's put money on it.
They said that the United States should facilitate his return.
Okay, all right. Sounds good, man. Hey, real quick. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to my words.
Allow him to come back.
Listen to my words.
Listen to what I'm saying, because
you're still talking?
I have looked up everything in this case. You have not, obviously, because you're fucking lying to all these people that just blindly support you.
Okay, all right. Is it my turn to?
Why don't you go look it up? Okay. And then look up the definition of facilitate.
Okay, and you're very confident in your claims, right?
I am absolutely 110% confident.
Okay, put $500 on it.
Have you studied law?
No, I haven't.
All right, then. Okay. Then I'm already ahead of you on that.
Phenomenal. Then put $500 on it. I'll put $500 on it too.
I don't bet money.
Wait, why not? If you're so confident in what you're saying, why wouldn't you bet money?
Because I don't bet money.
Oh, but it's not even a bet. Like given that what you're saying is right, and you have like total and complete unilateral confidence in your claims, like you're not betting money, you're taking money.
No.
What about $50?
Just look it up.
Hey, how about $50?
Just look it up.
Why won't you? Are you sure you don't want to do 50?
I'm sure.
If somebody so what's your name?
Mystic Ant.
Mystic Ant. Okay, well let's assume that that's like your legal name. If somebody random on the street came up to you and said, Mystic Ant, I want to bet you $100 that your legal name is not Mystic Ant. Would you take that bet? Because obviously it is. You could prove that and make a quick $100.
No, I would not.
Okay, all right. So now we're being disingenuous. Well, okay, all right. It looks like I don't get to make money today, but I'll go and prove you wrong. That's all the satisfaction I need. You could actually go to SCOTUS Supreme Court. No, you're going to listen to me, little boy. You're going to go to supremecourt.gov. You're going to look up Noam v. Garcia. This is case number 24A949. And then you're going to read the very first paragraph. Keep in mind, the claim that you're trying to argue that I'm saying is false is that you're saying that his removal was not ruled as illegal by SCOTUS. So let's just go ahead and read the first paragraph of this Supreme Court ruling 9-0 unanimously together. On March 15th, 2025, the Supreme Court removed Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia from the United States to El Salvador, where he's currently being detained in the Center for Terrorist Confinement, CCOT. The United States acknowledges that Abrego Garcia was subject to a withholding order forbidding his removal to El Salvador, and that the removal to El Salvador was therefore illegal. So around 45 seconds ago, when you said that SCOTUS did not rule that his removal to El Salvador was illegal, you were fucking wrong, as the Supreme Court ruling explicitly says that his removal to El Salvador was illegal. Thank you so much. Go to concede, say, I'm wrong, you're right, Dean. I love you, that's all I need.
No, I'm not going to say that.
Of course you're not.
Okay, so I'll concede that it does say illegal in the Supreme Court ruling. However, the Supreme Court ruling says that the actual ruling from the Supreme Court says that the United States must facilitate his return. They did not rule that they should effectuate his return, because who has control over immigration in this country? The executive branch. The judicial branch cannot oversee the president in matters that are strictly left to the executive branch. Do you agree or do you disagree?
So no, I completely
I'm
disagree.
guessing you disagree.
I completely disagree. Are executive orders strictly left to the executive branch?
I didn't say executive orders. I
Okay.
said there
I know.
are
I'm asking you a question.
There are specific things that
are executive orders, right, only overseen by the president?
Well, executive orders can only be written by the president.
So this is something that falls under the executive branch. Does the judicial branch in SCOTUS supersede executive orders, given that they're unconstitutional?
If there is a case that is drawn from an executive order, the Supreme Court can rule on it.
Bada boom, bada bang. Yeah. The
called
judicial
check and
branch holds a check and balance over Congress as well as the executive branch. If the executive branch does anything that's unconstitutional, the judicial branch has the right to stop it.
Agreed.
Okay, yeah.
However,
so they do supersede in this.
There was
sense.
nothing constitutionally wrong with his deportation.
I thought we just agreed that SCOTUS ruled it was illegal.
Illegal, not constitutionally protected.
What do you think makes it illegal?
The process was the problem there, not the constitutionality of it.
What does SCOTUS rule
The president
on?
has.
I have a question. What does
explicit
SCOTUS rule
control
on?
over immigration?
What does SCOTUS rule on?
Constitutionality.
So,
The meaning of a law.
So SCOTUS rules on the constitutionality of an action, and they ruled that this one was illegal. What does that mean?
But it was not unconstitutional.
I thought you just said that they rule in constitutionality, though.
They do.
So,
And
but they
they
didn't in this one
constitutional.
case.
So I want to ask you this.
I thought that you said you were a law
He didn't
student.
get his due process.
I thought that you
then
said
why
that you were a
did-
36-year-old
Hold on,
law
hold
student.
on.
What the fuck are you doing?
on.
What are we doing here?
I want to ask you this.
Nah, bro, you don't get to move on until you respond to what I just said. Because you were like doing this whole thing like, oh, Dean, you're so young,
don't
you're
get-
spreading all this misinformation. I'm a 36-year-old
Listen to
law
me.
student. I know infinitely more than you do.
Listen
And you
to
were
me,
like, oh, his
child.
removal wasn't illegal. And then I was like, yeah, it was. Then I even read you the text from the order from SCOTUS. And then you're like, well, it wasn't unconstitutional. And they don't have the right to supersede the executive branch of the government because it's only the executive branch in which holds the power to oversee immigration. So I'm like, hey, that's not necessarily true. But B, it is the case.
Look,
But B, it is the case that no, the executive branch can't do anything that is in violation of federal law or the Constitution. And for that reason, the judicial branch does supersede the executive branch in anything that they do insofar as it's illegal or unconstitutional. And for that reason, you were wrong about that second claim that the judicial branch can't supersede anything that the executive branch does within their power. And then you made the claim that, well, they didn't rule as unconstitutional when they called it illegal for the Trump administration to remove Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And then I was like, well, what does SCOTUS rule on? The constitutionality of things. And then I was like, well, what was the ruling about Kilmar Abrego Garcia? They ruled that his removal was illegal. So what does this mean? That his removal was thereby unconstitutional. And then you were like, no, it's not. So then I was like, oh, so you're telling me that SCOTUS has ruled on the constitutionality of things in every circumstance except for this one. And then you had nothing to say. Now you want to move on back to due process. Come on, bro. You're getting walked. If you're in law school, you should drop out or just start studying harder. One of the two.
I said I've studied law. I didn't say I was in law school. You said that it was unconstitutional because he did not get due process. So then why didn't the SCOTUS rule that it was unconstitutional based on the Fourth Amendment?
Yeah, so it was unconstitutional due to the fact that it violated the withholding order, and the reason why it violated the withholding order is because he didn't have his day in a courtroom in front of a judge to delineate the withholding order.
That is not correct.
Yeah, okay, so now we're just arguing semantics of like why
Go
it's
look up the
unconstitutional.
withholding order and
Okay,
tell me
yeah,
what country.
yeah.
Go
What-
look
what
up the
about-
withholding order and tell me what country.
What about this? What about this? So it is the case.
The withholding order and tell me what country is listed on it.
I thought that you agreed that was a clerical
It was
error
not El Salvador.
I thought that you agreed that was a clerical error earlier, right?
It was a clerical error because it said Guatemala.
Right.
They
And
exported them to-
then who delineated that clerical error? Let's go. Come on, bro. Let's get real.
And he was released from CCOT in El Salvador.
He was tortured in Secot.
No, he was not.
Okay. Yes, he was.
Really? So show me all the bruises from when the fucking senator or whoever it was went down there to visit with him. Where was all the bruises in this beating that he got?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no bruises, no beat.
I think if somebody was getting beaten, they would want to fucking prove that, don't you?
So I just want to clarify that you think like El Salvador is
You're
just like
believing all the fucking
I just want to clarify
fear-mongering
that you just
going
think
on.
that like El Salvador is like just like literally like this
You guys
humanitarian
went-
rights capital and like CCOT is just like great.
You realize you ruined this man's life because you guys had to push and push and push, and now he's going to come back here and face human
Wait,
trafficking
I have a question.
and go to prison for the rest of his life.
I have a question. Do you
So
think that
he
Kilmer
would've been
Abrego
much
Garcia's
better off
do you think
leaving
that
him
Abrego
there.
Garcia beat his wife?
Yeah, it was in a police report.
Oh.
Have you read the police report?
Oh, so the police report was from the wife. So in other words, you're telling me that you believe that Abrego Garcia beat his wife because the wife said so, apparently, right? Well, now you're telling me that Kilmer Abrego Garcia wasn't beat by the guards at CCOT, even though he said so.
Go look up the fucking.
I want you to go look up
You
what
don't
Kilmer
look up
Armando
shit.
Abrego
I
Garcia's
have looked-
lawyer literally
I
said
have read all of
yesterday
these.
about how he was forced to kneel from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And if he fell from exhaustion, he would have been beat. And how Kilmer Abrego Garcia specifically attested to the fact that he was beat and that the fact that he lost 31 pounds in 3 weeks. How can you sit here and tell me that you're going to believe his wife, but not him? Bro, come on. And also, I just want to clarify that even the wife has said that, no, it didn't happen. But I mean, here's what I will say: there could have been a lot of like social media pressures for him to for her to retract the claims, etc. So I'm actually agnostic as it relates to that claim right now. I don't make a clear delineation one way or another. I believe that's probably the position that most people should take on. But like, if you take on the affirmative position that yes, he did beat his wife, well, then is the case. You have the same exact standard of evidence to believe that Kilmer Abrego Garcia was beat by the guards in CCOT.
No. And he was released.
But what's the
from
difference in the
CCOT.
standard of evidence?
And he was released in CCOT. So now
Can you tell
back
me what the
in-
difference was in the standard of evidence? Because you just said no. You just said I was wrong. So what's the difference in the standard of evidence to believe the claim that Kilmer Armando Abrego Garcia beat his wife and the claim that Kilmer Armando Abrego Garcia was beat by the guards in CCOT?
Yeah, you think you're fucking funny.
No, I just think that I'm having fun with you because you came up here all cocky, egotistical, and like shitty. So I mean, obviously, I'm gonna have a little bit of fun with you, like while I got you on the live. Obviously, okay.
I have read all of these orders, and I know that you're lying. You're just believing the fucking fear mongering. But
I'll happily wait for you to tell me what the difference in
way,
the standard
hold
of
on.
evidence was to believe that Abrego Garcia beat his
Either
wife and the
way-
fact that he was beat in CCOT because you said that there was a difference in the standard of evidence. Yeah, you seemingly can't articulate that standard of evidence. So
here's
I don't know. You
another
said that you
lie.
study law. If a cop doesn't have
Hold on, here's
what
another lie.
articulatable probable cause, then they can't make an arrest. So I don't know.
here-
Maybe if you don't have articulatable evidence insofar as to justify your claim that you do have reason to believe his wife, but not him as it relates to different standards of evidence, I'm not going to believe that you have evidence to justify that claim either. So I'll happily just wait for you to be able to sit here and tell us what the difference in the standard of evidence is that leads you to the conclusion that Abrego Garcia beat his wife, but he wasn't beat in CCOT.
obviously there was enough evidence from that police report that she got a temporary order of protection.
Oh, actually,
He
well,
had a protection order.
actually, if you read the fucking files, you know that the protection order was never finalized because she stopped showing up to the civil court proceedings. I mean, that's just like a very specific small point, but I'd assume somebody of your caliber that studies
if
law
you
and has
knew
read all these
that
reports
in that
and is such like a
situation-
victor of true information and anti-misinformation would obviously really appreciate me calling out you on your misinformation, okay? Right? I'm just trying to check you the same way you were trying to check me.
So another lie from that whole situation is that he never completed any criminal actions in the United States. He is now in the United States facing charges from human trafficking.
That's right, he is. He went to court
In
yesterday.
2022.
He was
So
he was charged with that from Homeland Security the moment he arrived. However, the claim was that at the time of his deportation, he didn't have a criminal history. And by the way, this is reaffirmed by SCOTUS in that SCOTUS ruling on April 10th. Feel free to read it yourself.
again, the human trafficking charge extended from 2022.
Okay, when was he charged
was pulled
with it?
over. Well, he's being charged with it now.
Yeah, by who? By who?
By the federal courts.
Governor Ron DeSantis and Kristi Noem. So, yeah. Hey man, I mean, listen,
He's
I'm actually
in
really,
charge
I'm really happy that he's finally seen
law
his day in court.
enforcement.
I think that's great. I mean, I'm happy that he is.
I
going
bet
to
you
court
guys
for that.
are happy that you ruined his fucking life, because nothing leads to him ever being released in the United States. Because the second he gets out of prison for human trafficking, they are sending his ass back to El Salvador, where he will be facing human trafficking charges there. And do you know what their penalty for that is?
Just gonna go back to CCOT.
Unalive.
Okay, let me ask you a question. My question for you is, do you believe that he's a human trafficker,
Yes.
even though he's not guilty yet?
Yes.
Okay, so let me get this
Have you
straight.
looked up
You
what that
definitely believe that Donald Trump raped E. Jean Carroll because he was found guilty of that in a civil court by none of his peers.
Wow, what a pivot.
It's not a pivot, just because I'm making sure that you
Holy
like don't hold like incredibly unequal like standards of evidence based upon like the political biases or like proximity to being good or bad for the Trump administration, right?
What a pivot.
It's not a pivot. I demonstrated its conceptual
Carroll
relevance. Would you like me to
was not
re-demonstrate to you? I don't
proven
mind repeating myself. I'll repeat myself twice. I don't mind that.
The E. Jean Carroll case was not proven in a criminal court.
Oh,
It was
well,
proven-
so you don't believe it because it wasn't
And
proven in
it
the
was
criminal
not
court.
even
I have a
great.
question. Is it claim that Abrigo Armando Garcia is a human trafficker? Has that been proven in a criminal court, sir?
Not yet. He hasn't had his court case.
Oh, look at you. You're a fucking clown, dude. Holy hypocrite. I don't even know what we're doing. What are we doing? Why are you such a hypocrite?
The evidence in his case is a lot more solid than the evidence was in the E. Jean Carroll case.
Okay, go ahead and run me through the evidence in
Yeah.
both cases.
Well, obviously there wasn't enough evidence in the E. Jean Carroll case because it didn't get prosecuted in criminal court.
Yeah, nice pivot, bro. Also, nice red herring because that's false. But I'm going to go ahead and re-ask the question. Go ahead and describe me the evidence in the E. Jean Carroll case and go and describe me the evidence in the Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia case.
So Kilmar Abrego Garcia was pulled over in Tennessee with 8 people in his car who all claimed to have the same address and no IDs.
Okay. So there's the evidence
So
in
they
the
could not
Abrego
verify.
Garcia case.
They could not verify the identity of any of those people in his vehicle, and they were told by the Biden administration to just let him go.
Okay. All right. So there's the evidence he's a human trafficker. Now, what is the evidence that, let's see here, Trump is a rapist?
Trump is not a rapist. He was never charged with rape. He was never convicted of rape.
Okay. So when I say what's the evidence Trump is a rapist, I'm talking about the fact that he's held civilly liable for rape.
He was not held civilly liable for rape. He was held civilly liable for sexual abuse or sexual harassment.
You just dunked on me so hard. Now, the reason why I don't think that's a dunk is because the action that the jury delineated he did is something that we should both consider rape. And now New York State does with the law they updated in 2023 to reflect the laws of 34 other states. And the fact that there was a countersuit that Donald Trump tried to bring against E. Jean Carroll because she called him a rapist on live TV. And then the judge threw out that countersuit and ruled that her claims were substantially true. So I just want to clarify, what is grape? Can you give me a definition of that word?
It doesn't matter what my definition of it is. If he's not charged with it, you cannot call him that.
Great. So how many enslaved African Americans during American slavery were a victim of grape?
It's unknown.
Well, actually, you would know that there's 0 because there was never a single slave owner that was ever officially charged with grape because grape did not include the forceful / unconsensual penetration of any part of the body of an enslaved individual at that time. And because you're telling me it doesn't matter what you think, you can't call somebody a rapist unless they're charged and found guilty of that inside of a criminal court, because that's not true of any slave owner ever as it related to the forceful penetration of the part of the body of any enslaved individual at the time, you would have to say that there are 0 enslaved individuals in American history that were victimized and raped.
Okay, so obviously there was no forcible penetration in the Trump case because he was not charged with rape.
So there actually was. So the action that the jury unanimously determined that he did to E. Jean Carroll was the forceful penetration of her female member with his fingers.
Okay, and where was the proof on that? Where is the conviction of rape?
Yeah, where's the proof on that? Well, remember, that's actually the question that I asked you, because you were the one that told me that the evidence was significantly stronger as it related to Garcia than it was as it related to Donald Trump and E. Jean Carroll. So the burden would actually be on you to now describe the proof of that claim as it related to Donald Trump and E. Jean Carroll, because you said it was weaker than the evidence that related to Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia.
I told you that the evidence that they had obviously was not firm enough because he was not convicted or charged with rape.
That's a really cool logical fallacy. That's a great fucking logical fallacy. So the reason why that's a logical fallacy is the reason why they couldn't charge him criminally as it related to E. Jean Carroll wasn't because of a lack of evidence. It's because they literally didn't have the legal ability to do so because of the statute of limitations. You said that you're studying law. Obviously, you know what statute of limitations are. Statute of limitations would have prevented E. Jean Carroll from getting him criminally charged with rape, even if she had it on camera. So shut the hell up. Don't say just because she couldn't criminally charge him that thereby she didn't have enough evidence for a criminal charge. Absolutely unreal. Terrible lawyer right here, folks.
There is not a statute of limitations on rape. You should look that up.
Wow. So now your new claim is that there's no statute of limitations on rape in the state of New York for criminal proceedings. Really?
So number 2.
Are you sure about that? Do you want to bet again? Because there was when this event happened. Okay, of course. Go ahead.
Either way, obviously, if they changed the law for it and tried to charge him with it, obviously the evidence didn't stand up because he was not convicted of it.
So the evidence stand up because he wasn't convicted of it. Are you telling me that they charged him criminally, it went to a criminal court, and they found him innocent?
They didn't charge him with it.
Oh, so it's not that the evidence hold up because they couldn't convict him for it. It's that they never charged him in the first place. Now you're saying that the reason they never criminally charged him in the first place was because of a lack of evidence. So go ahead and demonstrate to me that the reason that she didn't pursue criminal charges was because of a lack of evidence and not because she literally couldn't via statute of limitations of rape in the 90s. Lost.
Okay, this is not the point I came up here to defend.
All right, obviously. I don't really know if you know the point that you came up here to defend. The first thing that came out of your mouth is that I'm just spewing misinformation. I'm such a terrible person. Yeah, how's that going for you?
Well, it's going really well. Hopefully I can reach at least a couple of people that fucking believe your nonsense.
Well, because
I'm not crashing out.
Not yet.
I'm looking nice and relaxed.
All right.
So anyways, I came up here to get you to admit that you are lying because I have read the court orders. He did have his due process. He was legally determined to be removable by 2 judges in 2019.
Yeah, how did that one go for you? Like, remember when you said that you like read the court orders and then you said that SCOTUS didn't determine his removal was illegal, and then I literally like read off the court order where they determined that his removal was illegal. Remember that one?
Well, you do remember how it says that the Trump administration admits that it was illegal. So SCOTUS did not rule it was illegal. They said that the Trump administration said it was illegal.
Oh, yeah. Let's put money on this one too.
Read it again?
Yeah, for sure. Why would you do this to yourself?
Are you pretty boy?
Because you're wrong.
Yes, but he's a pretty boy.
Dude. Guys.
So what did the court order in that case?
Yeah, they said his removal was illegal because.
So what did they order?
They ordered for the Trump administration to facilitate his return and then bump down exactly what that facilitation would look like to a lower circuit court on the federal level.
And what is the definition of facilitate?
That was whatever was delineated by the lower federal court. I don't know what they delineated.
Yep. And what do they consider facilitate?
I don't know. I
They
haven't
have
looked
to
at
make
that.
it possible for him to return. So they have to not stop him at the border or give him a letter to be able to fly back to the United States. That is all facilitate means. The court also ruled that
Are you saying that this is what the lower federal court ruled?
the Supreme Court also ruled that the lower courts cannot tell the Trump administration to effectuate his return because that would mean they would be playing with international politics because they would be telling him what he needs to do in international agreements.
Okay, I have a question. If you think that facilitation just means make it possible for return, well, I mean, they said that he's never coming back. Never means impossible.
It's not like he lights, he is heavy.
Nothing in the world ever equals him walking as a free man on the United States.
Yeah, that's a nice pivot, bro. I thought that we were having a conversation about what facilitation means. I then refute your claim by showing you where the Trump administration said that he's never coming back, which would demonstrate an impossibility. And then you just act as if, right, like the last conversation just didn't exist. And then you go, like, he's never going to be walking free in America. Jesus, dude, these guests today are like Delulu. I don't even know what's going on with them today. Like, dude, guys, like, this is bad, guys. This is really fucking bad. Real quick, James, thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal. Actually, that one was a while ago. I already thanked you, James. But thank you once again. You get two shout outs. Thank you, James. And then also, let's see here. Lily, thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal 18 minutes ago. Guys, show some love to Lily down below in that chat. Lily says, younger sister of a trans sibling of whom I love more than anything in the world here, living in the UK. Well, thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal, Lily. Guys, show some love to Lily down below in that chat. As well as Mel, thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Mel says, Mystic is getting cooked. Get him, Dean. I appreciate you for that love. Yeah, he was being like he got testicle to me, so I was pulling out like similar cards on him. It was pretty fun. Thank you for the $10, Mel. As well as Juliet, thank you for the $25 over on PayPal, saying Mystic defending rape is so wild and upsetting. It literally makes me sick hearing these people talk about SA like that. Yeah, man, dude, it is fucked. Like, that's just MAGA. That's literally the average American. It's so incredibly upsetting, Juliet. As well as Michaela, thank you for the $2 over on Venmo. Appreciate you so much for the love. Also, guys, if you want to support me, I have my link tree in my bio where I have a permanent PayPal. You can support me. I get 100% of the proceeds over on those platforms, as well as I get a notification at the top of this phone screen where I could read it off and thank you. As well as I have a temporary Venmo. It's at Withers Backup. It's just temporary because my main Venmo right now is suspended. But if you want to support me, that's where to go to. So I do appreciate you guys so much for the love. As well as Wes Howell, thank you for the $10 over on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute. Also kind of do need to use a restroom, so I might use a restroom after this next guest and try to get somebody up here to cover me in the meantime. Everybody be patient. Everybody do be patient. I might also try a restart. I don't know. Who knows? All right, everybody, we're going to get that next guest up in the box. I'm actually not having fun with these people today. Are you guys enjoying these conversations? Because honestly, these conversations, at least for me, from my perspective, have really sucked. I don't know. Maybe it's just a day. I'm happy that some of you guys are enjoying it though. What's up, Jordan? How old are you?
Hey, Dean. I'm 40. Happy 4th.
Do you support Trump?
I do. You've made it
no.
a bit harder, not going to lie.
That's great. Well, why do you still support him?
Yeah, so I do support his foreign policy, mostly. I had been in favor of lowering taxes, but the BBB, I don't agree with it. And you actually have changed my mind that me saving a bit of money is just not worth it. But I do still support some of his foreign policy.
Okay, all right. So you support some of his foreign policy, like what?
The strikes in Iran and standing by Israel to get rid of Hamas.
Okay. Well, I don't really think that the strikes on Iran were a good thing. What is the good that we generated from that?
We've slowed down their nuclear capabilities and also combined with the actions that Israel had taken, kind of crippled their leadership and, overall delayed the time that they have to get a nuclear weapon.
Well, I mean, according to early U.S. intelligence reports, we only set them back by like a month. Okay, so 30 days is not a big delay, especially when we consider that after these strikes, the Iranian parliament pulled out oversight from the IAEA. They basically said that the IAEA has no more clearance to look at their uranium enrichment levels. So, like, trading off like 30 days for us having no idea of where they're at within their uranium enrichment sounds like a really bad deal to me. What about you?
The IAEA didn't really have any. They had some oversight, but they weren't stopping Iran from enriching uranium at
No,
all.
I understand that they
And
weren't stopping them, but we just knew their uranium enrichment levels. Now we don't. Like, I wouldn't trade a 30-day delay for no clue of how enriched their uranium is.
okay, so the 30-day delay, I did see that on early intelligence estimates. I have also seen more recently 1 to 2 years, and that's just the US strikes. When you combine it with the fact that Israel eliminated a dozen of their top nuclear scientists and their
Well, I mean,
almost
now they have nuclear scientists from Russia, and we shouldn't be talking about what Israel's doing because Israel would have done that nonetheless. We're talking about why you support Trump, right? So we're talking about the American
sure.
strikes on Iran.
Yes, but I do think when you have to take that into the context of also when they are rebuilding these things that were destroyed, that they don't have a lot of their top nuclear scientists. So I do think it's relevant. Uh, and I did see the estimate of 1 to 2 years released yesterday.
I mean,
So
dude, we see
it's
that too. I mean, no. Netanyahu's been telling us 1 to 2 years since the 90s, bro.
that is true. I can't deny that. He's been saying it's imminent for 20 years,
Right.
at
And
least.
then also, do you believe that like allyships with other countries should be like conditional on like war crimes and ethnic cleansing?
That our relationship with could you say that again?
Do you think that our allyships with other countries should be conditional on like war crimes or ethnic cleansing? So if another country that we're allies with like commits a bunch of war crimes or ethnically cleanses a group of people, we should stop being allies with them.
In some instances, yes, but I don't.
What
I
I'm
know where
not,
you're
I'm talking
going
all
with this.
instances. I think that full stop, we should have a conditional allyship with all countries that we are allied with, where if they commit war crimes, like a bunch of them, or ethnically cleanse a group of people, we should no longer be allies with them. What about you?
Yeah, sure. If they're ethnically cleansing a group of people,
Okay,
sure.
great. So that's why I don't think that we should be supporting Israel. They're ethnically cleansing Palestinians. And now Donald Trump wants to help them.
I don't agree with what Donald Trump said about Trump Gaza, and that's never going to happen. And I don't
That was a
think
plan for ethnic
Israel.
cleansing. And it's already happening. It's already happening. Okay? It's already happening.
Actually, they're getting a lot closer to peace now. There was a report released yesterday that Hamas has sent over a new offer. And look,
They've
all
sent over
Hamas has to
12
do,
in the last 4 fucking years. And now stop pivoting because I want to make it clear. Do you accept or reject the idea that Israel has ethnically cleansed Palestinian people?
that's what I was about to say. If Hamas laid down their weapons tomorrow and unconditionally surrendered, the war would be over. So I
That's
do
not
not
the
think
question that I
Israel
asked you.
well it is answering the question
No,
because
I'm asking you if Israel's ethnically cleansed the Palestinian people, yes or no?
no, I don't think they have an intention to create an ethnically homogeneous area. I do think that,
So what's the
and that's
definition
why
of
I
ethnic cleansing?
removing people from an area with the intention to create ethnically homogeneous area. And I do not think that intent is there. Yes, as a
Okay.
byproduct of
Okay.
the war,
Okay. All
as a
right.
byproduct of the war,
So
they've had
the
to.
definition of
Could
ethnic
I just
cleansing,
finish?
just the definition of ethnic cleansing that I'm reading from Oxford Languages is the mass expulsion or killing of members of an unwanted ethnic group or religious group in society. Right?
You,
So I mean, like, obviously, right? They have expelled and killed like a lot of Palestinians. I mean, the UN says that they have probable cause to say that it might be a genocide. Right? I mean, at the bare minimum, I think that we should agree that this is an ethnic cleansing. And you're basically adding this addendum saying, well, an intention to create an ethnically homogenous area following the cleansing. Well, the state of Israel is a Jewish state. I mean, I would say that they do possess the intention for for an ethnic homogenous area because it is defined as a Jewish state. But I mean, I don't think that intention is going to be required to define what ethnic cleansing is. You know, like imagine that the Nazis ethnically cleansed Poland, but then just left the land alone for 100 years. Okay, well, they don't have an intention of creating an ethnically homogenous state. They have the intention of creating a state without anybody living there. But was it still ethnic cleansing? Yeah.
Yeah. So Israel wants a Jewish state because they have been the most persecuted group of people throughout the history of the human world.
We could talk about that after you respond to the fact that this is very clearly, setting us up for the conclusion that Israel's ethnically cleansing Palestinians.
It's a byproduct. Gaza is the most densely populated area in the world. Hamas is using the civilian population as a shield. It's impossible to eliminate Hamas without moving people temporarily. It's just how could they do it otherwise?
Moving and killing. So you're just saying that the 60K Palestinians dead and all the Palestinians that have been ethnically cleansed and forcefully removed by the land was necessary. So, I mean, now we're getting to the conclusion where you do agree that Israel is ethnically cleansing Palestine. You just think it's justified for these external reasons. So we started the conversation off by you agreeing that we should stop being allies with any country that's committing an ethnic cleansing. And now you're saying that we should continue to be allies with a country that you agree is committing ethnic cleansing because the ethnic cleansing is good or necessary.
Okay, so first of all, that 60,000 number released by the Hamas Health Ministry is, who knows the accuracy of that? I mean, I think in other contexts, you wouldn't be so ready to accept the numbers from a totalitarian regime, but also that does not include any Hamas fighters killed. So either way, even if it is accurate, it is completely inflated if you're saying that that's how many civilians have been killed.
See how he's not responding to the ethnic cleansing bit?
Okay,
so
well, I just had to correct that.
He's tried to pivot from the ethnic cleansing bit to Hamas. He's tried to pivot from the ethnic cleansing bit to talk about how persecuted Jewish individuals are. You try to pivot from like the crux of my claim here, like this whole fucking time, and honestly, it's really annoying.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be annoying, but if you're going to make a claim as to how many people are being killed, I think it's very important to note that context. And the ethnic cleansing bit, again, I just don't see how you can eliminate Hamas when they're hiding under civilian populations in the most densely populated area in the world. How you could eliminate Hamas?
Okay.
Without.
Do you think that UN rights chiefs are Hamas?
No.
No. Well, I mean, a UN rights chief tells us there could actually be more than 120 people that have been killed or injured in Gaza. And do you think that UN experts are Hamas? Well, I mean, like another UN expert tells us that, yeah, there has been 60,000 Palestinians that have died in Gaza.
I'm not
or even,
disputing the 60,000.
Or even like a UN senior for like humanitarian and reconstruction. They're Hamas because apparently they say the same thing. I don't know. But yeah, no. So please go ahead and continue to tell me how you think that the ethnic cleansing is justified. I just want to make sure that's your position, right?
I'm not conceding that it's ethnic cleansing. I'm not able to look up the definition right now, but I saw a definition that there had to be an intent to complete a homogeneous area.
So I've already given you reason to believe that intent wouldn't be required via like an ethnic cleansing of Poland on behalf of like the Nazi regime, but not moving anybody into the region following. There would be no intent to create an ethnically homogeneous area, but we'd still consider it ethnic cleansing, right?
If the Nazi regime was moving the Poland, people Poland down?
The Nazi regime is just killed everybody in Poland, okay? But they have no intention to use the land, so they have no intention to create an ethnically homogeneous area. Is that still ethnic cleansing?
Of course.
Right.
Of course, that would be ethnic cleansing, but...
So therefore, the intention to create an ethnically homogeneous area is not required to define ethnic cleansing. And then also, like, ethnic homogeny is what a Jewish state is, right?
Of course it is, but that's out of necessity because the Jewish people are the most...
And do you think that if they were able to push all the can we agree that the Zionist state of Israel thinks that they have a claim to the land of the Gaza Strip? That is their land.
I think the right side of it, the right side of the Israeli government, the far right, does. But I think that a lot of Israel wants a two-state solution, and history shows that it actually has been the Palestinian side that has rejected the two-state solution and wants one unified population living there. It just happens to be Palestinians, not Israelis.
So, I mean, we could talk about history. The reason why that's been rejected is because it ingressed upon their land. But once again, I did just demonstrate to you that it is the case that the definition of ethnic cleansing does not require like an intent to create an ethnically homogenous area. So now that we have ruled out that intent, this conversation is unnecessary, as the forceful expulsion and killing of Palestinians on the Gaza Strip by the state of Israel is all that we need to know in order to define ethnic cleansing.
Hypothetically,
nothing's hypothetical about 61,000 innocent Palestinians dead, but
again, 61,000 innocent is not accurate. Even if you take that number to be true,
there's only 60,000. There's only 50,000. Yeah, okay.
Dean, that number, look it up. That number does not include Hamas. I mean, it does include Hamas fighters killed. It does not differentiate between civilians and who happen to be in Hamas.
And how many of them do you think are Hamas?
At least 10,000. It's hard to say.
Dude, okay, I'll accept that number. 50,000 innocent Palestinians dead. Good Lord.
I'm just saying, like,
I'm just saying,
it doesn't have to be inflated.
It's only 50,000. It's only 50,000. They've only killed like 50,000. Like, okay, sure. We might have evidence. We might have evidence that Israel is strategically cutting off food and water routes to Gaza to intentionally starve, the innocent Palestinians and the babies to death. But it's their right. It's necessary to do. Ethnic cleansing is necessary because the Hamas, they're hiding in the stomachs of the babies. We can't be giving the Hamas fighters in the stomachs of the... Do you see how insane you sound?
Dean, how many German civilians were killed during World War II?
How many German civilians were killed during World War II? I don't know, but let's assume...
Over 2 million.
So let's assume that there's a lot of innocent German civilians killed, right? I mean, I think that two things could be bad at once.
Sure.
So imagine that we're like framing this in such a way where like I don't know anything. I don't know anything about like World War II. Not enough to be able to tell you like how those 2 million German citizens died, who killed them, etc. But I mean, let's just assume that they died under like identical pretenses to how like these Palestinians are dying. I think that they could both be bad in that scenario, right? But I just want to clarify that this does fit the definition of ethnic cleansing, right? Can we agree?
If they're intending to return the land to the Palestinian people, I have trouble saying it's ethnic cleansing. It's a byproduct.
They're not. Donald Trump said no. Donald Trump said
a lot of things. I do not think that there's really any serious plan.
Your president wants to ethnically cleanse every single Palestinian living on the Gaza Strip and give them no right to return. I think that we've both forgotten that. That's who we're fucking talking about, bro. That's who we're fucking talking about.
Sure,
why do you support?
That's
who they're fucking talking about. He held a press conference with Netanyahu where they both agreed to this plan.
That is not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. I have a question. Would you still support Donald Trump if he went on a mic at a podium tomorrow and said that he wants to re-enslave every black person in this country, even if you knew that it probably wouldn't happen?
Obviously not.
Oh, even if you knew that it probably wouldn't actually happen?
That it would be completely different than what he said about Gaza.
Oh, okay. So like the ethnic cleansing of 1.2 million people isn't bad enough.
It's bad. It's bad, but it's not saying he wants to enslave that. I mean, what he was saying.
So the reduction of your claim is that it's not bad enough, right?
I think that claim could have a more justification than saying you want to enslave every black person in America. I mean, that would just be completely
right.
insane.
So exactly, you don't think it's bad enough. Just say it.
Sure, I guess. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Sure. That is
yeah,
the
of
reduction
course.
of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ethnic cleansing of
But
1.2 million innocent people isn't bad enough.
it's not going to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go let you talk to somebody else. I'm gonna let you go after that one. Great. Let's see here. Faith, thank you so much for the $100 over on PayPal. Faith, thank you so much. That is insane. Let's get 1,000 Faith W's down below in that chat. Thank you so much for your kindness, Faith. That is nuts. Thank you so much. Faith says, Dean, keep going. I reach out to you on Facebook. I don't know if it's the real you or not. It is not me. I don't have an official Facebook account. People like you are imperative to the future of democracy in this country. As a political science student, you are quite amazing to follow and listen to. Let this package treat you well, and I'm glad to spend time with you and chat on this 4th of July. Faith, that is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much for your kindness, as well as the incredibly kind message. Guys, please show some love to Faith down below in the comment section. Thank you. As well as Joe, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal. Joe says, just found out 3 days ago. Yeah, we'll not read that one out loud. By the way, Joe, keep in mind in the future, make sure to put that last bit at the beginning of the message. You know what I'm referring to? But I did catch that. But thank you so much for the $20 donation, man. And Jesus Christ, I couldn't even imagine what that's like, bro. I hope that you're doing all right. Thank you for the $20, Joe. As well as Esther, thank you for the $20 over on PayPal as well. Esther didn't leave any message, just the 20. Thank you so much for your kindness. As well as Xena, Xena, thank you for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Guys, show some love to Xena down below. That is Xena down below in that chat right now. Thank you so much for the $50. You guys are being so fucking incredibly kind today. As well as Jay. Oh my God, dude, Jay with $100 super chat over on YouTube. Holy fuck, you guys. Jay says, fuck, man, your argument alone with that one fake law student warrants this remittance for your fee. The joys of debate. Fantastic. Jay, I'm so happy that you enjoy these. I'm so happy that you enjoy these debates, man. Dude, I love this Jay guy. Let me tell you. Jay, you're a beast, man. I hope I could be like you one day. Seriously. Dude, guys, show some love to Jay down below, as well as Faith and Xena and Joe. You guys are all awesome. Thank you guys so much for the love. As well as, let's see here, Michaela with $1 over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the love. Okay, here's what we're going to do. For everybody over on the YouTube, on the TikTok stream, I'm going to go and restart the TikTok stream. I don't really know what's going on today. We've got another flag. It's probably worth it. So if you want to be able to come back into the live, all you got to do is click through my account. I'll be right back. And another reason why I'm doing this is I just got to go pee. So yeah, just click on my account. I'll be right back, everybody. And then we are going to continue the